we gather in the cosmos bright. Stars and ships take flight tonight. In the void where dreams do play, soul citizens lead the way. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Starry roads in endless skies. Soul citizens we rise. Charting courses never lost. Together the verses crossed. Squadrons call on the horizon. Battles fought, our hearts aren't frightened. In our ships we face the dawn. Soul citizens carry on. Oh, planets spin and light years fly. Boundless space where hopes reside. Brotherhood in every star. Soul citizens, here we are. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Starry roads in endless skies. Soul citizens we rise. Charting courses never lost. Together the verses crossed.
Hey, greetings, and welcome back to the Soul Citizens. I am GriffinGamingRPG. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Thank you for being here to join us. Fastcart, I was chuckling because right when I hit the button, the James Brown thing, I feel good. Did you hear that? It popped
I
up.
didn't hear it. It doesn't come through the thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Somebody sent us a sub or something. I don't know. It looks like, yeah. It looks like CC Creator hit us up right when we were launching. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that, CC.
Nice timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. And also, Senior Muko, thank you. Thank you for that as well. New Soul Sound. Oh my God. Look at all the love that's flowing in. Thank you guys so much. New Soul Sound.
And you have to upgrade the subscriber goal to January.
Oh
We just
my
got
God,
4.
I do. Yeah, Nick at Night. Oh my God. I'll do that while the show's going on. Thank you guys so much for kicking us off. You guys, wow, what a great way to start out 2026. Thank you guys for being here. And I'm here again with my good friend and co-producer, Fastcart FC. Happy New Year to you. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. I caught a cold or something like that over the holidays, so I was stuffed up and sneezing and coughing, but I'm much better now.
Yeah, well, that sucks being sick over the holidays. Did you went back in as your annual trip? You went to see the family and everything too, right?
Yeah, I went to the family, and I did my best to keep them, healthy.
Isolated.
I wore a
Yeah.
mask and everything.
You
Yeah.
kept your distance. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Well, listen, we are happy to be back with you guys.
How about you?
Oh, things were fine, I guess. Yeah, things were fine. I can't complain about anything. We I actually, in a way, I have mixed feelings about this time of the year because, one, I look forward to it because we get like a break for a couple of weeks. Sometimes we're off like 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, depends on how the calendar days land. But it's nice to get a break, just to be able to enjoy the holidays, not have to feel like you have to rush and do anything. But of course, at the same time, you kind of miss the community and kind of being in touch with what's going on. And so, as always, it's nice to get a breather, but it's also nice to be back with the family and our community of people that are faithfully supporting us. And we want you guys to know, as always, we appreciate you all for all the support you do, whether it be through donations, whether it be just being here, whether you resend out and follow us. We really, really just want you to know that we really appreciate that as we go into another year. I've got to
And
reset.
speaking of
Mhm.
support,
Yeah.
Pot and Face just subscribed and gave a gift sub. So thank you for that,
Oh,
Pot
thank
and Face.
you. Yeah, thank you, Pops. I did not. Did I set the goal thing right? What's it set at right now? It says 0. Okay, good. We're
It
good.
says 0.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All
So
right, good. All
we
right,
got
we're good. All
5 or
right.
6.
All right, so I've got us
Yeah.
caught up now. So, guys, I know even though you guys gave us donations, believe me, we know that they're there. But I fast card just from of all the things I was doing today, I completely forgot to reset the goal thing. So we know that we're at least 6 up toward our 60. So thank you all for that. Okay, so let's talk about this year. This year is a new year for us, and we are, as always, trying to keep up and stay current, be dynamic, whatever's going on within the Star Citizen community and Star Citizen itself, we adjust ourselves as well. And as you guys know, last year we started doing some tweaking to some of our shows, and one of the things we did was kind of introduce This Week in Star Citizen, and so we've been really enjoying doing that. And so what we're going to be doing now is definitely splitting the show in half. Probably, usually we're about maybe the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes, but we're probably going to be more closer to an hour. This is going to be kind of like a mixture of when we were doing Soul Talk with Fast Cart on Thursdays and Soul Voices with me on Saturdays. But you guys don't get to come in and talk to us. We're going to talk about what's been going on in the community, but we are going to be seeing what you guys say in chat and commenting to that. And then after that, we're going to go into our topic for the week, which today is called grading the game. We're going to be doing a overall grading of Star Citizen, CIG, from two guys who've been around a very, 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 very long time. Were you going to CFC?
And also I get to make jokes like Soul Talk. So
Yeah.
that's that too.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. And you get to block him too, like in Soul Talk too, if you want to. So feel free to do that as well. But again, thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate you all
Don't
as
block me. I give away a
always.
BMM at the end of the holiday.
Yeah,
Don't do
feel
that.
free to block him. That was last year. That was last year. Okay. So we want to kind of let you guys know that we're going to do that as we go, and we're going to have some special announcements for you guys as well for those of you who are here. In fact, well, you know what? We'll get to those announcements a little bit later. Let's go ahead and get the show going first because we've got a lot of ground to cover here. So kind of a different format, different layout. So bear with me here. And thank you guys also for, we started an hour later today. I had a family obligation I had to take care of. So thank you all for still finding time to be here with us today. But we're going to talk about what's going on from last time we were here because we left right before the Christmas holiday. In Fast Cart, one of the things that came up was the letter from the chairman. It seems like now there is this pattern that either at the very end or very beginning of the year, we get this basic synopsis of the progress and vision of the year that we're in and the year that we're going into from Chris Roberts. I'm sure you got a chance to take a look at the letter. Was there anything to you that stood out? And what just your feelings about the letter for the chairman in general, even? You can kind of toss that out there.
It's always nice to hear from Chris Roberts. Some people say we should hear from him more often. Some other people say we should hear from him at all. I don't know why they had that sentiment, but there's some people like that. Um, I've, I'm one of the people who wish we could hear from him more often, but I guess as time goes by, they become busier and busier. So this the amount of time that they set aside for him to reach out to the community. Um, there was some stuff about it. He said about Squadron 42 about the marketing, and he said that they're not starting up now, but they will start up. I'm paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
They won't be a long marketing campaign,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not. And I have mixed feelings about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of us knows about Squadron 42 already, but I mean, there's a broader audience who may or may not, and the broader audience may not associate with Squadron 42 with Star Citizen. Star Citizen can have this negative connotation, but Squadron 42 doesn't necessarily have that yet.
Yeah.
So if there was a longer campaign, a longer marketing campaign, maybe it'll carry over. But since it won't be as long, hopefully it won't have the stigma
Mm-hmm.
on it.
Yeah.
I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see about that.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. I felt funny about it when I first heard it, but then I started realizing that, there's one thing to hear things from the inside and also to think about things from the outside. And for me, there's this there's this dynamic of how we've been used to receiving communication from CIG. Like we're used to getting a lot of information from CIG
Yeah.
over a long period of time. But this is the other thing that's I thought about. If there's nothing else that you can say about CIG's marketing people, they know how to market. And so, you know, whether it be through the visual marketing, whatever they've done, they've been able to get the attention of at least the people in this community, if not people from outside of it. My question is going to be, what will that marketing look like for people outside of the Star Citizen community,
That's my
right?
question too.
And so my question is it necessary to have a 6 month, 3 month, whatever time frame for Star Citizen? And is there going to be? I'm a little lower. Thank you, Architect. I'm going to try and speak up a little bit. And my concern is there going to be a negative repercussion if it goes too long? And the reason why I'm saying that is because there are people who already feel Squadron 42 has taken too long. So if you're doing a long
Hmm.
campaign, is there some psychological, I mean, these marketing people look at all types of things from a business standpoint. And so I guess I'm trying to say in so many words that I'm going to trust that the marketing people know what they're doing, because I agree with you. A lot of us are thinking, oh, if they start the marketing, it's going to start out at least a year ahead of time. No, we may find out that it's important for them to be at certain industry events like GDC and a couple other things, and then do their campaign. We also don't know about what other things are going to be going on in the gaming industry, whether it be GTA 6 or whatever. So I'm sure that somebody has thought this out. There's a lot riding on the table for this thing to be out. And so I'm kind of just residing myself to the fact that I'm going to trust that these folks are going to be on point when it comes to the marketing. And we'll see what happens, but
One time. Oh,
mhm.
oh, go ahead.
Sure, go ahead. No, what were you going to say?
No, I was gonna say one final thing about marketing. We'll finally see what the results of the Coda family and everybody else pitching in to investors for the marketing. We'll finally see the
Mm,
results of that. 'Cause I think that was for Squad 42, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the results? The results is they gave them money to do what they need to do for marketing. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're just saying to see what the marketing looks like, yeah.
Right, right,
But
right.
but I think it was I can't remember what the numbers were. I think the first number was something around 30 something million, and then they added an additional 17 million or something like that.
Yeah,
So
something like that. 30 and
yeah,
15, something like
yeah,
that. But I
whatever
mean,
that
well,
involves. I mean, and let me back up a little bit. Marketing could be a lot of things too. It doesn't
mhm.
just have to be commercials. It could be the distribution side of the marketing. Getting the game out there. We talked about all these different ways they can distribute the game with these different packages. I mean, there's a lot involved in what marketing could mean, for the game. So they've separated that from development so that they can make sure they have enough money to get the game out. But I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see where that money that was invested, how it's used in the process of getting the information out. But again, we're on the inside, and selling us
Right.
on the inside is not the issue. It's going to be selling those people on the outside. And what does that audience need to see to be convinced that this is something that they should give a try or be
Hey,
interested in? Mhm.
how many people you gonna think? How many people you think will say, "Oh, Squadron 42, this looks good. This is gonna blow Star Citizen out of the water"? Because we already had a couple of those already. How many more people you think will do
Well,
that?
there's a pro and con to the whole Star Citizen Squadron 42 thing, right? People who don't know what Squadron 42 is or don't know the connection between the two are going to view it with eyes with no prejudice, right? They're going to look at a game just like any other trailer that comes out, and they're going to see, hey, there's a new space game out. And that's where the buck stops. Then there's the other group of people who will associate it and say, oh, that's that other part of Star Citizen, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know about that. I mean, you're going to have these different audiences, and it depends. I mean, some people are very neutral. I mean, we've seen some major content creators who are out there who have said they're waiting to see. They're not passing judgment either way, right? They're pretty much saying if it's a good game, I'll give it a try. If it's a bad game, it's not. So they're not associating any of the quote unquote history of Star Citizen to Squadron 42, but guaranteed there will be those who will also equate that. And not just that, there's media outlets, there's bloggers, there's a whole bunch of people out there who are going to have a certain attitude towards Star Citizen towards Squadron 42 if they have an
Mhm.
association to Star Citizen. So it will be interesting to
Right.
see. like, we've had people come into the game who, they're playing Star Citizen and somebody mentioned Squadron 42 and they're like, what's that? Right?
What's that? Yeah.
They don't even know anything about it, So I can see it going both ways, basically. But we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. But that's a good question and a good point.
It'll be really interesting to see how much they start charging for Squad 42 when that comes back, because you know it will.
Yeah, I know we've tried to talk about what that dollar amount might land at, and I know we've had several shows where we've taken our guesses over time and watching the prices of games right now. But I just read an article not too long ago where they were saying that people are pushing back on these games that are costing like $90. They're not too happy about their pricing. And then, of course, there's what's happening in gaming in general, that, gaming in general ain't cheap. You and I were talking about the whole RAM thing now, and now they're talking about graphics
Oh God,
cards,
yeah,
graphics cards. Yeah, well,
yeah.
graphics cards too. So, we're going to have to see. And it depends on the economy. There's a lot of variables, but some of that is local, some of it is global. It all depends. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds. Okay, so, for me, for the letter for the chairman, one thing that was interesting in here that, it's very easy to kind of gloss over because we've heard of it before, but it's the fact that it seems to be that one of the emphasis for the future for this year is dynamic server meshing. And, they've been trying to get the server meshing stable. As far as the meshing goes, that part is working. There's other stability issues that have to do with the game that they've been dealing with. But we know that they do have the server meshing running in the game. The question is now if they move toward the dynamic server meshing. And there's a lot contingent on that. There's the game instancing. There is the increased population on servers. I think right now, CIG, it seems to be, I haven't seen recently fastcart because I've been in and out of the game. I've been, like during the month of October, November, I was kind of but December and January, I've been getting back in, and I've seen almost every time I've gone into a server, it's been a 700 pop server, where before it was like a 600 and a 630. It seems like they've been staying around the 700 number. And if you guys have seen something different, let me know. But it seems like, we know that they've tested the population over up to 1,000, and a little bit over 1,000, in fact. So if they can start getting that dynamic meshing in so that now we can get even more players playing in, that would be simply amazing. So, and other game elements too, right, that are dependent upon server meshing. A lot of stuff we don't have is based upon the tech that they want to do for that. We've got a whole lot of stuff that we're looking forward to. We've got the crafting we've got looking forward to. We've got the new inventory system we're looking forward to. We've got the new missions that are coming into the build out of Nyx we have looking forward to. And there was one other major, Genesis. We've got the dynamic planet weather generator stuff, and the Planet V5. Planetech V5 is another element. So there's a lot of stuff that could be bottled into this year that we have to look forward to, that CIG. But a lot of this dynamic.
And don't forget ships. And don't forget the ships.
That's always. That's nothing new. That's all. That's the same old thing. Okay. So anyway, that's our point on the letter for the chairman. Let's hit the next thing here. This was another thing, fastcart, that happened this year, and many of you all know CIG put out a survey. And when they did it last year, I remember there was some people, when there was an announcement of the survey, there were people that were a little bit like, survey. But then when they started doing it and then they responded to it, people were like, oh, they actually did pay attention. Some of the devs were quoting things that they had read and stuff like that. So the survey went out again this year. And I talked to several people who, even though there were some areas where it was pretty much a simple check the box thing, there are also several areas where they asked for people's comment and commentary. What about you? Did you get a chance to do the survey? Have you done? I think it's 3 or 4
Yeah, I did the
days?
survey.
Is it till the 15th or something like that? Is it till the 15th?
I want to say the 15th. Yeah, and if you do the survey and you put in your information correctly, you'll get like a flare on the 15th or after the 15th. So yeah, there's a incentive to do the survey. But yeah, I did it last year before Christmas, before I left, and yeah, so some of the questions were some of the questions were hard. Took time consuming to answer. Let me put it that way: time consuming to answer. I'm trying to remember some of them, but it was like, a lot of people have issue with one of the first questions, like, what makes a person who's only been playing Star Citizen a year a veteran? But hey, I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. The veteran
And
question.
typically, for the first year you're a rookie, and after the first year you're not a rookie anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, the veteran question I think was a little bit like people who've been around for a while kind of laughed at it because they think usually if you're a veteran, you're thinking people, maybe 5 years plus, maybe, I don't know, 3 to 5 years or more, something like that. I think they've set veteran at 1 year, and people are like, 1 year? I don't know about that, but I don't know. It was interesting, but I to your point, there were some questions that were thoughtful that you did if you wanted to. You didn't have to. You could skip questions if you wanted to. But the fact that they did ask for people's feedback on certain things, and there are some people who write some very good, thoughtful observations, critiques, suggestions for the game, and I think that it is helpful that they do that. And I'm glad to see that it seems like they're going to do that every year, right, to get feedback. I mean, because going into the Spectrum area, that can be a little bit difficult. You can get lost in the haze of a lot of commentary, but if they're getting something that people are actually reading and looking at, then I think that's a pretty cool thing to do.
Architect had their own range. 1 year
Yeah.
equals 5 year equals war torn, 10 plus equals crazy.
I'll go along with that. I'll go along with
Right.
that. I'll go along with that. Stout Man, hey, Stout Man says everyone is still a noob after 1 year. That's true. It takes a little while.
Hey,
It
Stout
does.
Man.
It does take a little while. It definitely takes a little while to get used to stuff. I think that people have to be willing to spend time in those questions, though. And to your point, Fastcart, I mean, I think we do get used to quick surveys, but if people want to spend that time to give commentary, and at the end they even ask if there's something that people want to share, then I think that that's something that they should really, take advantage of. To me, it's like this is the time to voice your opinion and your thoughts. Good or bad or ugly. This is the time to do it, not after the game comes out. Okay, that's the survey. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, there was an update to the concierge levels page on the website. Now, Fastcart, I'm getting old, and I tried to see what was updated, and I couldn't figure it out. Maybe that's because I didn't have the old version and the new version right next to me, but my memory didn't catch anything that seemed to be different, except for this one item that I don't know if this was on there before. And that's the reason why I'm highlighting this. Many of you all, I know, are probably concierge. If you're not concierge, what that means is, and it's interesting because today it doesn't mean what it meant back in the day. But Fastcart, why don't you tell people what back in the day what it meant to be concierge was?
You got a concierge black card. Well, you're eligible to get a concierge black card, and you
No,
got
but what was it? No, don't tell them what they got. What was it? What did it mean to be concierge? How did you get to be concierge?
You gave over $1,000 to the project. Basically, you put in $1,000 into the project, and that's still the case.
Yeah, and back then in 2012, that was a lot of money.
There is a lot of money. There is a lot of money talking about.
I'm saying back in the day when there was no money in the fund, right? If somebody hit concierge, it was a big deal. It was,
and it's funny. Deal. Like back then, if you put $1,000, you're considered a whale.
Oh yeah,
$1,000 now is not considered a whale.
Yeah. If you did $1,000, I remember when I first heard about concierge, and I remember thinking, oh, I'll never get to that. That's kind of how. That's kind of how my feeling was. It was kind of like, oh, I'll never get that high, But when you do that over a 13-year period, you can get there a lot faster than you think.
And then when someone comes in new, like say at least 5 years ago, or you know they're gonna stick around and say, "Oh, I'm never gonna be concierge." Yeah, you'll be one of us soon.
Yeah,
okay,
eventually.
sure.
Yeah. Now, mind you, we're not telling people to go become concierge.
Right.
There are some. Those of you who don't know, there are a few quote unquote. I'm saying quote unquote perks to being concierge, and some of them are meaningless to some people. Some of them are meaningful to some people. But one of the things that they did do, and this happened over a period of time, and it's on the screen right now. One of the things is that this was in 2022 that they did this. This was at the 10th year after the announcement. They made it so that if you had reached concierge, you would automatically get a digital download for Squadron 42. Now, that has morphed over the years because when Fastcart and I started back in the day, in the early days, when you bought a game package, you would get access to the Persistent Universe, Star Citizen, which is what most of you are playing. And then you would also get, you would get a copy of the digital download for Squadron 42. Then some years later, fastcart, maybe you remember when it was when they divided that, when they split it, where you bought
2017.
2017. Tell people what
I want
happened
to
in
say 2017.
2017. Tell them what happened.
2017 on Valentine's Day of all day, they had a divorce where they separated Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. Instead of being in one package, they became two separate packages for $45 each. So instead of before that day, you spend $45 in a package, you get both. You get Star Citizen download and Squadron 42 download. So after that, you had to pay $45 each for the two separate games.
Exactly. And then it morphed again, and they made it so that you could, if you were concierge, it's kind of goofy to explain this, but there were people who had those original packages that didn't want to get rid of them or melt them because they wanted to get their Squadron 42 game. They wanted to keep it. So I guess their numbers or projections basically said that there was a certain amount of people who had already exceeded the $1,000 limit, or the $1,000 top rather. So those people, if they spent that much money in the game, they would automatically get a copy of Squadron 42. And then the thing that freaked people out was that they went in and took Squadron 42 off the store completely.
Off the stores. This is after the fact.
Right.
Like this happened. They made the Star Citizen 2042 digital download available to Concierge. Then they took it off the stores, if I could remember correctly. And I don't want to say people panicked, but there was some worry.
Yes, yes. And so at the time, there was a pro. It was kind of like a pro and a con, because some people thought like, oh, they're taking it off the store. That means they're getting ready to release it. And then other
Release
people,
the game.
right?
Yep, I was one of those people.
And then there were other people like, nah, they're getting ready to release it. They're getting ready to raise that price from 45 bucks.
That's
up.
true.
That's what
Also,
they're
yeah.
gonna do. And so, go ahead. What are you
Yeah,
gonna say?
yeah. I was more leaning toward, oh, they're getting ready to make an announcement to release the game. That's where I was. But yeah, other people said, oh, they're just going to increase the price and then put it back in the store.
Yeah. And so, as you guys know, right now, AAA games now can run from anywhere from $49.95 up to $69.95, and of course even higher in some cases for a base game. But the $45 number lasted for a very long period of time. At one point, it was combined with the original starter pack, but that's what's here. So that was one of the things that happened in 2022, the Squadron 42 digital download. Another thing that happened in 2025, which was last year, that they gave us an RSI Constellation painting. Now you might say, well, what's that? I never got one. Well, you didn't get one at your house, but you got one in your hangar. And so there is for those of you who were like into Star Trek The Next Generation, you might remember like Captain Picard had that nice portrait on his wall of the Enterprise D. This is kind of like that same type of thing, right? It's the Connie. Now you might be saying, well, why the Connie? I could care less about RSI. Well, that's because you could care less, but RSI happens to be Chris Roberts' favorite. Well, again, Roberts Space Industries. That's his ship manufacturer named after him. And the Connie, particularly the Connie Phoenix, was supposed to be his flagship ship that he enjoyed. So, hence.
Also,
go ahead.
Also, that was around the time the Los Angeles office closed, and some people who were in the area managed to, let's say, acquire some knickknacks from that office before it closed. And one of the things they had was actually a Connie Phoenix painting.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of like one person just getting the one physical painting, they gave all the concierge a virtual copy of that painting.
Exactly. And then, last but not least, in July of last year, some of you remember that they gave out Artemis armor and Ardent CL backpack. There was a Chairman's Club edition, and the Chairman's Club edition is usually something that is usually black and trimmed in gold. And so if you ever see people running around with this Artemis, that's the one with the little hose coming off the head and stuff in the hood, in the tails. If you see people running around with that kind of lets you know that they are concierge. It's kind of funny, Fastcart. In the early days, I remember people didn't want to wear the concierge gold,
so style flare or anything.
It wasn't because they would lose it. It was kind of like you didn't want to be called a loser, right? if you're running around in the gold armor.
I never saw that, but maybe you did.
Oh no, it wasn't that I thought that. That's what people would be like. Oh, you're bragging.
Okay.
You're bragging. You know, so people didn't want to come off, bragging. So it's every once in a while you see somebody wearing the gold armor, but in the early day, I don't think people care now. There's so much armor in the game, but back in the early days, it was kind of a thing for some folks not to wear any of the executive or concierge type clothing. But I actually think the concierge one, the new one that they came out for the Artemix, it's nice. It's got the concierge logo, the lion head on it, which is kind of cool. So anyway, that's that. But you didn't see anything else in here. Was there anything else you saw in the thing that was updated? Because I didn't see anything.
Griffin, I was like you. I'm like, okay, what? I don't want to say I went over like with a fine tooth comb. It's like it's hard to tell because you can't compare the old version with the new version.
Yeah.
So I didn't see anything that changed. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is what changed, but I couldn't tell.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, one of the things that I'm not surprised, but it still catches my attention that to get Legatus is still 25,000 instead of 42 to get the package now. But to get the title Legatus is 25,000, but to get the package Legatus.
No, that's because there's two Legatuses. You know that, right?
Yeah, according to here, there's only one. But,
but I'm saying there is two. Because what they did was they left because they had that reward at the 25,000 mark. That became Legatus Nabium.
Okay.
And then there's Legatus, which is the higher one. So that's the thing, because you get something entirely different at the $25,000 mark.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just saying there's two Legatuses.
Okay,
I know what you're saying.
Right.
I'm just saying there's two. Before we only had one. There was only one Legatus before. Now there's two. So for those of you,
and I'm curious why they made $25,000 one Legatus Navium instead of making that.
I think it was because of what you got at that level. They didn't want to raise the reward, make that reward a further extension, almost twice the amount of money to get that reward. If that makes any sense. So to me, I think I don't know I don't even know what the reward is. At Legatus
it's not a complaint. I don't want to say it's a complaint, but I'm always curious. What are the numbers when it comes to how many people are concierge, how many people are at Legatus? CIG hasn't told us that they won't ever tell us these numbers, but it's been pretty clear they won't tell us these numbers. But I'm always curious because it's just a numbers thing.
It's interesting because statistically, according to the numbers, more people have spent less than, I think it's 350, something like that. Then people, like a lot of people think everybody's a whale, and that's not the case.
Right.
Whales have a tendency to hang out around other whales, but in general, most people have spent less than around 350 or less on the game. So it'd be really interesting to see what the percentage is of, even if you just broke it down into those categories, like how many people are under 500, 1,000, something like that. And then you have to take into consideration there are people who've been in here literally for over a decade. And so even if they've spent $100 a year, right, they're in the concierge bracket, right? And mind you, it doesn't mean that you bought ships. You may have bought a paint or a skin, or you may have subscribed to the monthly thing. So it doesn't mean that you've got a fleet load of ships. It just means that you've donated to the project in some form. It may be merchandise. You may have bought shirts or it's something along those lines. And all of that gets accumulated into the amount of money that you spend. A lot of people think it's just the ships, but it's not. It's a lot of things that people might spend money on.
Also, when you buy merchandise, the shipping adds to it also, and that counts towards your total.
Yep, they include that. Yeah,
and tax.
I remember the shipping.
And tax.
Yeah, I remember buying something one time. It was $35, and then my shipping was $25. I was like, "Holy!"
Yeah, that was a book.
Yep, the book.
Everybody remember that one.
that was rough. The book was definitely.
It was rough. The jump point.
Yeah, the jump point
book, right?
Yep, the jump point. Yep, absolutely. Okay. The January subscriber promotion. It is so funny. Two people I know very well, when they first saw this, they both said the same thing. It was so funny because they both said the same thing. And both people said it took them long enough. That was the first thing out of their mouth when we talked about the subscriber promotion. Now, the reason why, for those of you who have not been around for a long period of time, this helmet was introduced what? How many years
I
ago?
don't even
It was
remember.
back
I
when
don't
we saw
remember.
it was well, okay. This goes like really back, like at least to 2015. At least to
Yeah.
2015. Okay. And when people saw it, they were really, really excited about this, right? And so I think it goes back even further because it was in what was that in Machinima a fast cart that they did with Meyer and all those guys
Bulkheads?
in it.
Bulkheads?
No. The other one, the bigger one, had Board Gamer. Uh, it had part one. It was something part
Bigger
one.
than bulkheads?
So, yes, it was called something part one. The guy who ended up going
I
to
don't
work
remember.
it wasn't Fiendish Feather. It was the other guy. Okay, well, anyway, I'll think of it in a minute. But unless somebody here knows what in the cinema I'm talking about. In that particular one, the leader of that gang had this on, I think. Or was that Bulkheads the leader had this on?
I want to say bulk. I want to say bulkhead, but I'm not sure. You got me.
Well,
You
if
got
it
me
was
mixed up now
it was
because
one of the
it's been a
two.
while.
Right, it was one of the two,
Yeah.
but it was one of those early machinimas before these guys even had access to all the files and stuff.
Right.
But anyway, make a long story short, people saw this and went gaga crazy back in the day because the feeling was, oh my god, this helmet's coming out. And this is like real early days. And then it didn't come out, it didn't come out, it didn't come out, it didn't come out. And then people forgot about it, said it ain't coming out, right? Um, I don't know. Fast cart. My only thing about this is like, why'd y'all do this in January? Y'all could have gave us this at Halloween
Halloween or
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
or Pilot Week or I don't know,
yeah, I
one of
mean,
them.
what's it
Yeah.
what's it called? Vara, right? The day of the Vara. This would have been
No, Day of Power.
amazing
Yeah.
on the day of Vara. I'm like, y'all
I,
gave us this after Christmas. What the? Who's? Well,
you,
maybe this goes back to my
you,
bad thing about marketing. Now, maybe I shouldn't trust marketing for Squadron 42. But
you said two people said about time. I got a quote right here from someone from a different channel, not so citizen. 7 years and they finally releasing this helmet. People have died waiting for this crazy thing.
yeah, yeah. It's a cool helmet. Now I understand that there was some technology related issues to this. It's like visually it looks like one thing, but one of the things they talked about was that the holographic effect of this thing, they didn't have the tech for it completely, and they wanted to refine it and make sure it looked good. Now, some people might say, just give us the helmet and fix it as time goes by, which I can understand that too. But there never was like a announcement that this helmet was going to come out at any particular time. It was just assumed that once we saw it, we were going to get it. I am a little disappointed with it though, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm disappointed. And I know you're gonna think I'm nitpicking, Fast Cart. I love the skull thing, but that design on that helmet sucks. I'm so sick of seeing that side. This part around here. I
Oh,
wish they had created a new helmet design for it.
well, it's. I
Um,
mean,
mhm.
it's retro now. That's
Yeah,
what the kids
yeah,
would call it,
yeah,
retro.
yeah. And I wish they would have dedicated something that looked a little more. I don't know, just something.
Modern,
Yeah, I'm this
up to date.
that I can't think of what that helmet is called in the game, but I that particular helmet, it's the noob helmet design, right, that you get. And I wish they had just did something a little bit different with the design on it. But otherwise, I love it. I think it's a great effect. And there are going to be plenty of pirate people who are going to be running around with this, and maybe not even pirate people that are going to love
You know,
having a helmet like that.
what would be cool if you had voiceover IP working with this, and
Mm.
or face over IP,
Mhm.
and your mouth would move if you when you talk,
Well, it's a
or
skull, so I don't think just with your teeth in there moving around. Maybe, yeah, I
yeah,
get
that's what
what
I
you're
mean.
saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Now, I will say this: this helmet is a spinoff. It's not a spinoff. It's what was that thing? No. Forget what I was going to say. I'm having a bad flashback. Okay, I'm having an old man
Okay,
moment. But anyway,
okay.
the helmet in CIG said that this will be. I think this is going to be in the 4.6. We don't have it right now. I don't think we have it right now. But I think they said it will come in the next patch. So, and that's not the first time we've gotten something where they put the announcement on and say it's coming in the next patch. So that's that on the helmet. Let's see what we got next here. Oh, before we get here,
Yeah.
um, the buyback tokens. I didn't run the slide for the buyback tokens.
Okay, I'll put that in now. Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
just skip it.
I do want to ask you something in relation to buyback tokens. Since
Okay.
I think I still do have it in here. I have to do it manually. Okay. So the schedule for the buyback tokens is up. Now, for those of you who don't know what this is, well, Fast Car, why don't you tell people what is the buyback token?
buyback tokens. So when you melt a purchase from your hangar, it goes into your buyback, and that's a separate place. It's still considered part of your hangar, but it's not accessible when you play the game. If you want to get that thing back without having to, go to the store again, you can go into your buyback part of your hangar and then, buy it back. But typically, when you buy something back, it requires you to spend your money again, like the first time you bought it, or, RSI credit. But with the buyback token, it allows you to use RSI credit twice if you're a concierge or just once if you're not concierge. So they give you buyback tokens at a set time, January, April, July, and October, early in the month. And this is the schedule that they put out to let you know when those buyback tokens replenish because they don't accumulate. So if you have two buyback tokens and April 6th rolls around, you still have back two buyback tokens. But if you use them up, they'll reset back to two.
Yes, so they don't stack. They don't
They
stack.
don't stack
Um,
or accumulate. Yeah.
and again, Fastcar said the reason why this is here is because um, this is a way for you if you don't want to spend fresh cash, right? Because a lot of times somebody comes to the game, they want to get something out of their hangar that they had before, um, and instead of having to put fresh cash in, if you have credit sitting on the side, you can just use your credit. Now I'm not talking about a credit card; I'm talking about in-game credit because you spent something
Offside credit.
because you melted something, right? Then you can buy something with that, okay? And it also kind of helps moderate some people. My question to you, Fast Card, is how many tokens do you, if you had to say a percentage of tokens, like when you get them, what percentage of them do you use during the year at this point? At this point where you are right now, you get
Maybe
eight. You get
half.
8 during the year.
Maybe half.
Really?
Well, so I may use four. I know the first year, not the first year. Well, yeah, like 2024, I probably used all of them because I
Okay.
bought back almost there. But in 2025, I used half of them.
Okay. Yeah, architect. I'm like you. I don't use them. I haven't. I haven't. I haven't. I really haven't. I really haven't. I think I
No, I
used
believe
one
you.
last year, maybe, or year before last. I used one. But most of the time, my where I'm at, and am I curious? The reason why I'm asking is I'm curious for people who have had their ships for a while. Maybe for those of you who have refined your fleet over time. Are you finding yourself doing buybacks now and using the tokens, or are you like at this point, hey, I'm happy with what I got, or I'm not spending any more money? I'm really curious. And I've seen different people are saying different things. So the prisoner says he doesn't really use them. He might have used one. Monarchical says the same thing. I've almost never used them unless gameplay loop changes. Paglamia says never used one either. Architect haven't used one. So I think that for players who maybe have been around for a while, they may not take advantage. Plus, if you've been around for a while, you don't make those mistakes you make in the early days where you buy something thinking it's something, and then you later on say, "Nah, I don't want that," or "I want to upgrade," right? Or I'm going to melt and upgrade to something.
Well, what
Mhm.
happened for me is that sometimes I have a CCU chain, and then like IE
Mhm.
comes around, and I see, oh, I can get that same cheap, but make it cheaper. So
Mhm.
I would melt it and buy back the LCI token that I used, and then upgrade the token back up.
Okay.
That's what I typically do.
Okay. That's fair. That's more than fair. Fair, fair, fair. Alrighty. Now we can move on to the next piece here. There was a post that went out the other day, and it was written as a "Dear CIG." I'm not well, it's a Reddit post. Fastcart's going to put the link in for you guys. I am going to read this a little bit. I'm going to try and watch our time because we got a little about 15 minutes before we have to get on to the next thing. But this was a post that was on Reddit, and it was a very nice post that someone wrote. But it was titled "Dear CIG" and also Sylvan CIG and his team, and it was two pictures associated with it. And the first one, for those of you who remember what this is from the movie The Life of Brian, Monty Python's Life of Brian. It says, "Sylvan CIG, will you please listen? I'm not the Messiah." And then they posted this also saying, "People from Star Citizen with VR, he is the Messiah." Okay, people were pretty pumped up. But this is what the post said. It said, "First of all, for all teams in CIG, I hope you guys are having a lovely Christmas and a happy New Year. I work in hospitality, so I know quite well. Most of the people spent the New Year's and Christmas with their families, and some of you had to stay working to keep everything running. And to those lucky bastards, I salute you. Sarcasm aside, I'm an old backer and a whale, or so I'm told. My org mates can't stop rambling about VR and how Sylvan is the new messiah. I have a Toby, and I'm immune to that VR malarkey. He says. I've searched a few YouTube videos, and you can't be impressed. I'm sorry. I've searched for few YouTube videos, and you can't be impressed in any positive shape or form. It's video after video of everyday Star Citizen with terrible shake, and you can't understand the hype when looking at them via a normal monitor. So what the person is basically saying is that they can't see what other people are seeing, but they're really saying that there's all this buzz going on about VR in the game. So fastcart, I kind of want to present this to you a little bit because you have not experienced it in VR. This is not the first time when someone at Cloud Imperium has done something, contributed something to the project as outside work, and they've been noted for it, right? They've been recognized for their work. And it's kind of a weird thing, not weird thing, but I wonder about it sometimes because these people are kind of thrust into a space of recognition and notoriety that probably they're not expecting. And secondly, we're kind of crazy, right? Our group is pretty crazy.
kind of.
And so, yeah. And so, the recognition is it's well deserved and well intended. But we've done this with people before. We've done it with Jay Lee. We've done it with oh God, what's the guy's name? I don't want to use his name because they come up with a crazy name. Yeah, I hate using that name. I hate using that name. Paul has a different name for him, the Water Wonder or something like that. But
Water Wizard.
But yeah, Water Wizard. Yeah, but these people get through it. The guy who came up with the no loading the pupil to planet thing, right? Being able to land on the planet, right? These were all people who worked on the side and developed tech that was in addition to their regular work responsibility, right?
Yeah, let me give you a couple of examples. There's the person who worked on the racetrack for the PTV. That was a one person thing as far as I can remember. Right. Also, the person who did Pursue the Planet, that took them 1 month or 3 months, and then CID was all surprised to it by it.
Right.
And that's what that probably changed the whole project.
Right.
That one thing.
It did. So I think it's cool that these people get recognized, and because it'd be very easy for the company to just kind of sweep it under the rug, right, and just make it as it came out of CIG. Right. And basically, well, you're getting paid. You know what I mean? So I do think that it is cool. And the community managers and Disco have made an effort to get us to be aware of who these people are as not only employees of the company, but also as human beings. Right. And to see that these people have enough passion and interest to do these type of things to accelerate and enhance the development of the game, I think is notable. So we do want to say to all of them, not just Sylvan, but any of the people who just did that a bit above and beyond what your paycheck has required for you, we really do appreciate the fact that you guys are making that effort, ladies and guys, that you all are making the effort to do the work that you've done. But I'm curious to see how this continues to go. Are you curious about VR, Fastcart, or are you kind of a non-VR person? Because it's fine, VR is not a big demographic of gamers.
I mean, yeah, I'm curious about it. I would love to be able to participate. I haven't found a system that doesn't make me motion sick. Mm-hmm. If I can find a system that doesn't do that, I'll be. And also, cost is the thing. I just bought a new PC, and a lot of these high-end VRs cost as much as a PC, or maybe half of that. So I don't have the money to invest in it. But for me, it's just health-wise, or I don't want to say give me a headache, but it does give me motion sick. But if I were able to find something that overcomes that, then yeah.
Well, again, and we're going to tell people, our recommendation is do not go out and buy VR for this, not for this. Now, if you're into VR gaming, that's one thing. If you've been thinking about it, You might give it consideration, but do not go buy a VR headset for this. One of the reasons why is because this is still in development. It's still experimental. There are things that need to be worked out. And people who are into VR, who stepped into this, kind of get it, and they're kind of like, oh, I see what's not working and what is working, and they understand why it's the way it is. But if you buy a VR headset thinking, oh, I'm going to go play this, everything's going to be great, you're going to be disappointed. But at the same time, if you are into VR and you go into it, you're going to be amazed. So I would just tell you to, as the technology goes, just give it some time. CIG is going to continue to work on this and refine it. We know that this was a part of their structure plan from years and years ago, that they would get into doing this. So we just want to encourage you
I remember.
guys. Go ahead.
I want to say I remember back at, I want to say 2016. Maybe I'm misremembering. They had like a VR set in one of their marketing posts. I think it was. I think it was there by accident that they forgot to move it, but that gave people hope about VR. And I also want to say Sylvain was one of the people who one of the CID people who actually commented on the thread. Basically, Sylvain decided to play along and say, "Will you please listen? I'm not the Messiah," and then people can continue on with the joke saying, "The Messiah has spoken."
Yep. Yep.
So I thought that was cute.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Ivacati, Star Citizen Alpha 4.6.0 PTU. This is interesting. I'm learning more and more to stop trying to predict what CIG is going to do, because there were plenty of people who felt that once CIG went on break, we wouldn't see anything happening probably until February, mid-February, something like that.
Right.
And lo and behold, we were 9 days in, and a PTU patch dropped for Ivacati. Now, mind you, it was a very focused test. It's not anything huge. And as what has happened recently on all these patches, CIG is introducing things one step at a time. They've introduced a new mission campaign that is set in Nyx. And they've made it clear that this is just the beginning of 4.6. This is not the entire thing. But that we do know that they told us when Nyx was coming out that they were going to start building up the municipal works and some missions and things like that. And that's what we're seeing that this patch is involving. Fastcart, are you surprised that this came out as early as it did? Or were you thinking, yeah, we'll probably hear from them, once they all get refreshed and after they've had their meetings and maybe by the end of January? What were your thoughts?
Not only am I surprised, this is like the second one, right? The second patch. So yeah, not only had they put out one patch, they put out two patches. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Because I mean, that was one of our predictions from last year. So they're gonna take it January off. They'll be back, but lo and behold, yeah, exactly. So I think they threw a lot of us off.
Okay. Yeah, Monarcho says, I don't get the point of Ivacati anymore. The monthly patches are still showing up, needing massive fixes. Might as well just run the PTU than live. And Monarcho, it's interesting. There are a lot of people who feel that exact same way. I'm one of those people that feels that they should, but I'll tell you what one of the problems is. And it's not, I don't know if there's a real fix for it. Part of the problem is that even when stuff goes to PTU, not enough people go in and test it. CIG has made that very clear that they don't get the numbers that they need, which is why sometimes when something goes into PTU and we'll get like a couple patches of it and it starts working, and then it's working good, then they go live and all of a sudden, boom, it crashes, right? Like on day one. That's a problem. The other thing is that Ivacati doesn't do what we do. Ivacati people literally are there because they really write up bug reports and submit information. They also talk directly with the developers, which is what we do not get to do in the PTU. Sometimes they're just given something to test, but there are a lot of times when Ivacati is told, we've talked about this in the past, sometimes Ivacati will say, just log in, log out, log in, log out, and keep doing it till we tell you to stop. You and I both know we ain't doing that. Players ain't doing that. Okay? There have been times when they've been told, don't do anything other than go to the bar and order drinks. And that's all you do is just order drinks, right? And so, right now, when we get our PTU patches, it'll say, here's the focus. This is what you want you to emphasize on. there are some people who pay attention to that and go in and try out whatever that thing is. There are other people who just want to go in because it's the new thing, right? And they want to see the new flavor of the month. And so the focus is not on their minds. So on a small scale or on a smaller scale, that's what Evocati's for. They don't do what we do when we go on PTU. There's a lot more involved with their work and the tasks that they do. And then later on, it comes out, it gets to us. And then some of us do it, some of us don't. And I'm not telling people that you know, that they have to do all the ticket writing and everything. It's helpful if people write up tickets and when they see things wrong, and to focus and to go in and focus on what the real issue is and then go play the game. But even with all of that, they still don't get the number of people in the PTU to really bring things up to standard until it goes live. And even then, even if you had a lot of people, all games are like that, right? Everybody thinks things are working good until it goes live, and then boom. And once you get all those numbers all hitting and everybody's doing all types of stuff that other people didn't think about, all types of stuff starts to arise. So yeah, I know it's like six of one, half dozen of the other.
And that's one of the things we're bringing back. Squadron 42, I don't know if it's gonna have a beta test or whatever, but when the masses hit, to start playing Squadron 42, and because we typically in Star Citizen, we know what is needed to make Star Citizen run, or at least run well, just run it all. Some people may not be used to that when they're trying to and play Squadron 42 for the first time. So I think that'll be interesting. Hopefully, it won't be as bad as it could be, but they have telemetry and they're getting all this data. Hopefully, that'll mitigate that, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Last but not least, the sneak peek for this week. Built to Deliver. When I first heard this, I remember the campaign fastcart back in the day for the freelancer. It was like built
to last.
Built to last. Yeah.
Built to last.
I was like, oh,
it had the Bishop from Aliens with the voice.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know if that was him or not. I still wonder if that was him or whether that was
it's pretty much him.
No. I'm saying it's just somebody imitating him, because the guy that they use for what's his face for the guy who's the CEO
Elon Musk?
over it wasn't that CEO for McConaughey.
Consolidated Outland.
They didn't pay McConaughey to do that, so I don't. I don't know if they paid Lance Hendrickson.
No. That obviously was not McConaughey, but this was obviously.
Are you sure that's Lance Hendrickson? I've never heard if it was confirmed.
I would put money on it. I mean, I wouldn't take my life on anything, but I'm pretty sure it's him. Just because remember that was early back in the day. This is one of the earlier commercials that they
Alien was still popular. He was still a popular actor in 2012, 2013.
They got him. Yeah,
could be. We're gonna look it up. We're gonna look it up, y'all, and see, because I'm curious.
I don't know how we're gonna find out.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. I think that they find voiceover actors who sound like people, because the amount of money and royalties to do that stuff.
You got that guy from Top Gun, Jack McClure. He sounded like
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
But but it could be, like you said, in the early days. Maybe, hey, Chris might have called in a favor. Who knows? You might be absolutely right. I'm just kind of curious. Anyway, sneak peek, Built to Deliver. I have no thoughts on this one. I've looked at some stuff. I watched JBTV. He gave some ideas that sparked some interest in me. There were some things I saw here. What are you thinking? Some people are automatically saying RSI Hermes. Where are you at with this?
I believe it's RSI. I don't know what the Hermes. I'm more curious about that Gray Cat thing that's in the foreground myself.
And that's what's throwing me off, because there are some ships in the game that do have other manufacturer parts on them. And I've never been able to completely figure out, is that because those manufacturers are supplying the parts for that ship? Or is it because somebody forgot to take the template off and they moved it from one ship to another? I have yet to figure that out, right? This one isn't that case, though. This is definitely a laser, some type of emitter, tractor beam, something that's Gray Cat. But the internal design on there with that slightly angled walls is reminiscent of RSI, but I'm not convinced. And there's some people who are convinced it's the Hermes. Also, the depth of field on this is throwing me off. I can't tell whether I'm up above looking down into a big cargo hold, or if I'm in a small, narrow hallway.
I mean, that looked like a big cargo hold, but that that focus. Yeah, I
That's,
get what you mean.
yeah, they're throwing me off on that. And then the one thing JB mentioned about is the rail that's going across the top. And his question is whether or not we're actually looking at the tractor beam. That's what the gray cat thing is. And it slides
Hmm.
on that rail going toward the back of the ship where the hatch is. So that when you're
Yeah.
bringing
So
boxes in
if it's a
now,
Hermes, why would it have that?
well, no. Gray Cat supplies the tractor beam. RSI don't build the tractor
Right.
beam. Gray Cat does. But my point is that that thing that we're looking at is moving. It moves. It goes down that center rail, down that hallway, and brings the boxes in that way. Because most of the tractor beams are stationary, right? And we just do this with them. We just move them left and right. This one would move down
Right.
the rail back and forth, similar to what you see on the what's the Drake thing that's coming? The Drake the big thing, Ironclad.
Ironclad.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So again, is this supplying parts, or is Gray Cat supplying parts? Or, I don't think it's a Gray Cat ship, but who knows, right? Maybe they could. I mean, there's a bunch of ships coming that we don't know squat about, right? So we'll see. But what do you think?
I have news. Oh,
What
go
you got?
ahead.
No, go ahead. What you got?
No. Oh, I have news. I looked it up, and according to Engadget, it is Lance Henriksen. I'll put the
Okay,
link
there you go.
in chat.
There you
It
go.
is. It is. It said Daniel Mainstay Lance Henriksen does the voiceover honors.
All righty, there you go.
So, yep.
Yes, sir. That's great.
No, but what was the question?
No. I was just asking. Do you think it's the RSI, or do you think it's something else?
I think it's OSI, but I'm not sure it's the Hermes now. That's my thing. Cause yeah, yeah, I'm believing it's OSI because people I trust Serious Fun to know his on that shit. So yeah, I trust Serious Fun to know that. But as far as whether or not it's a Hermes or something, or maybe a
Or something
cargo
else?
thing,
Mhm.
yeah. Cause I mean, why would a Hermes or why would a data want to have a tractor beam on the track like that? But we'll
Yeah,
see.
but see, you keep saying it's a data runner. We don't know if it's a data runner. We don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know what the Hermes is. I mean, I know people are using it based off of the name, right?
right.
But we'll see. We'll see what it is. We'll see what it is. Togi says it's the
Mm.
Hermes. We'll see. We'll see if he's right. We will see. Okay. Well, that is what we're going to cover for this right now. We are getting ready to take our commercial break. And by the way, I told you all when we started out the show, thank you guys again for being here. We have a couple announcements real quick too. Fastcart, what were you going to tell folks about the charitable donation thing that we did from
Okay,
the
so
show?
yeah, first of all, excuse me. At the end of the year, we did a charity fundraiser for Dr. Murray. For people who may not be familiar with, his father is having some medical issues, and he needed some money to go visit his father for the holidays. And thanks to you all, Dr. Murray, what's his new name now?
Murray the Great.
Murray the Great, raised $226, so that was able to pay for them to go visit, so and celebrate with his family. So thank you all for donating to that.
Yeah. And I want to make it clear. Let me make it
I
clear
think,
too. It
go
wasn't
ahead.
just medical issues. He has terminal illness that they didn't think he was going to
Okay.
live past Christmas, and so we made a special effort for him to assist him. He was able to get half the money, and you all contributed the other half. And he wanted to express his thanks to all of you all for being able to make that possible for him to get to see his dad. Okay, you go ahead, Fast Card.
And the other announcement is we had a giveaway, several giveaways at the end of the year, and we just wanted to ask if BPZ is around because BPZ, I tried to gift you the what you won, and it still hasn't been claimed yet. So I'm just wondering if BPZ is around and let us know, or maybe we haven't sent it to the right address. So BPZ, if you get in contact with us, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we are going to take a break. And one of the things I told you all before is that we're splitting the show in half now. So yeah, Colossal, yeah, we know you'll take it. Yeah. So we're gonna split the show in half. So we're gonna go into our topic for the day, but we're gonna take like a 4-minute break. Now, this is the cool thing about it. This gives you an opportunity to get something to drink, some snacks, some water, whatever it is for our discussion for the day, which is the report card. But we're introducing a new song other than our opening song. This is a new song that we're going to do. It's a little more upbeat to kind of get you re-energized. for this next part of the show. This was done by our own Serious Fun. Hope you guys enjoy it. And Fast Cart and I will be back at the end of this song. So, and you got to give us your rating later on too, and let us know what you think of it as well. So, yeah, we'll be right back. See you soon.
On and on across the stars we fly, so citizens, bringing us that endless sky. We each build up what we want to be, but together we're making history. On and on, on and on, on and on, on and on. To be, but together we're making history. On and on, 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 and on, and all across the endless night, our soul citizens burn ever bright. And night, our soul citizens burn ever bright. On and on across the stars we fly, soul citizens, bringing us that endless sky. We each build up what we want to be, but together we're making history. On and on, on and on. Our soul citizens, bringing us that endless sky. We each build up what we want to be, but together we're making history. On and on, on night, our soul citizens burn ever bright. And all across the endless night, our soul citizens burn ever bright. Abdi Johan, Captain Jones, Fastcart FC, Gomab ATL, GriffinGamingRPG, Jade Star Watcher, Karate, Colossal, Serious Fun, Savagio, Unique, Yo-Yo Man!
Hey, we are back. We are back. And happy to be back with you all today. We are ready, Fast Cart, to do the do. We got a lot to do
Yeah.
today.
Before we get started, I just need to apologize to Griffin. That song was so hype. I got up and straight in front of the camera, so I'm sorry, Griffin. You had to see that, but hopefully you'll recover.
I'll take the pass for it. I'll take the pass for it. It was entertainment. It was entertainment. Mm. Once again, special shout out to Serious Fun. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you got a little bit of energy, got yourself something to snack on, something to drink, took a little personal break. And we're going to jump into this. As I mentioned earlier, our show topic for today is a report card. We want to kind of give a grade to Cloud Imperium. And you guys can feel free to check your numbers in if you want to. I want to kind of lay some history, though. It would be so difficult to sit down and try to say how CIG has done last year or the year before because there's so many elements involved in it. So Fastcart and I are going to try to give our opinion not just on how we feel about it, but also from us talking and listening to the community. And we may even say the community feels this way, but I feel this way, or we just may throw ours in with the community. So we're going to do this over a period of time as well. So this isn't like rating how they did in 2025. This is going to be when we're talking about how do we think the company has done just in general. And we've got these different categories that we're going to be covering. And we're just kind of, there's no notes here other than Fastcart seeing the same thing that you all are seeing. There's nothing written out here other than just each of the categories. And so I might do a little bit of explanation on them, but beyond that, what you see is what you get. And you guys get to join in on us with this grade card, this report card of the development of Star Citizen and also CIG as a company. So let's get to it. I'm going to include something here. Let me do this fast card real quick because I need to change something. Okay. So you guys can see there are two columns under each one of those stars: 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star. And there's an F and a G. So Fastcart's going to give his vote. I'm going to give mine. I'm doing this in real time, so I'm going to be trying to put like how Fastcart grades them and how I grade them in each of these columns. So just while we're talking, I will be doing a little bit of work at the same time. Um, but let's start out Fastcart with what I call vision and ambition. Okay. Now I know this is tough, Fastcart, because vision in 2012 and vision in 2025 can be a
that
bit of a
was
jump.
that was 5 graphics card
Yeah.
generations ago.
Yeah, it could be a real serious jump, right? But when I mention vision and ambition, I want to put that into when it comes down to what CIG or Chris Roberts has conveyed as their what their goal is, what they're trying to achieve, and you know that mark that they've set for themselves, right? That bar that they've set for what they want to achieve, as far as excellence, as far as uh, doing something maybe that has never been done before, or even making something that has been done better. If
I have a,
you were
I have a clarification I wanted to
sure,
ask.
sure,
Can I include the visuals that we got for Squadron 42 in this?
no, no,
No,
and only and
just
only
Star
reason
Citizen.
why and only reason why I'm saying that is because the only reason why I'm saying this is that it'd be very easy to look at the visuals of Squadron and think that something could be great and it could be horrible. It's like watching a movie trailer. You know, you can
Okay.
see a movie trailer that's great, and you go see the movie and say it sucked. They showed us all the good stuff, and everything else stank. So I
All right.
want to,
Okay. All right. That's
so
fair.
I
That's
would want
fair.
to stay away from Squadron per se. Rad, thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank you
you,
so
Ryan.
much. And I don't think I said anything about Thracazogs earlier with the Prime. Thank you, Thracazogs. Appreciate you as well as always. I think we got everybody else in there, Monarchal. I think everybody else, we would give you guys a shout. Thank you all for all the contributions. So yeah, let's keep this within the context of the development
Star
of
Citizen.
Star
Okay.
Citizen. What we do know, what we have experienced more than anything. So, okay, where do you want to land that and why? And this is over all these years,
Visit
so it's a
over
lot
all the
going
years.
on there. Yeah.
and I can only do a whole story. I can't do half.
Yeah. I mean, you if you tell me 4.5, I'm gonna throw it under 4.
Yeah,
Or if you tell me
that's
three
what
and
I
a
was
half,
thinking. Four and a
three and a
half.
half, you're gonna tell me 3.5, I'm gonna put it under 3. So I just, and if you say if it's a half, feel free to say it. Don't hold back
I
for
want to say
yourself.
Vision and Ambition. See, over everything. That's tough. Well, it's over 13, almost 14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4.5. So maybe make it 4. I guess.
You want to give them a 4.
Yeah. Cause I mean, the vision and ambition is there. You can say from People Planet, you list a whole bunch of stuff earlier in the show. Um, um, Procedural Planet, uh, the ships, and the upgrade. They gone from Mark 1 to Mark 2, or for like something like the Constellation, they gone from Mark 1 to Mark 5. I forget what Constellation they're on now.
Okay.
Um, and the background there, the fact that if you see something in the and if you're inside through Babbitt and you're in that tunnel that you can see the outside and see the code and everything, you see a mountain in the background. You can actually go outside and reach that mountain eventually. If you decide to walk or take a vehicle to it. So that is ambition, ambitious ambition,
Well,
and
I
quite a bit.
I think there'd be people who would say there's been other games that have done that.
Not to this scale.
Okay, but to scale. Okay, but to scale. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got
Not
you.
to this scale. I
Okay,
mean, you can do a whole planet.
I got you. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
But as far as why I'm not giving them a full star on it, because it's not quite finished yet. It's incomplete. So maybe if it was complete, maybe I would give them a,
A 5.
a full 5 star. But they still have stuff that like a lot of the economy is not there. Crafting is not fully there yet.
Okay.
Um, some of the ships that they promised back in 2013 are not in 2020. The backlog is not there. So
Okay.
the vision is pretty good, but achieving that vision, they haven't fully gotten there yet, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit in the same direction as you. I'm gonna go with a 4, but I'm gonna go with a 4.0 versus a 4.5.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
because I think that they could do better work with keeping us updated with the vision. There's some stuff that we
Mm.
still. I know that they've said this thing, right? That if they haven't said anything different than what they said before, that it's still in their plan, right? So for example, let's say Death of a Spaceman, right? There was a lot of concerns about was Death of a Spaceman going to be relevant, especially after that commercial came out with the I've died 1,000 deaths, right? People freaked out and stuff, right?
Freaked out.
But
Yeah.
but in reality, what they did do with it so far, and the way it seems, is that it is very close to what was stated in that original design doc, with just some very minor modifications, right? So my issue is that it for though if you were around 13 years ago, you're okay with that. But if you haven't been around, if you don't know that design document exists, if you haven't seen anything on an ISC or SEL talking about what does it mean to live in the persistent universe, you could have a completely different outlook of what you think this game is going to be. You will be basing the outlook of this game based on your history of playing other games, right? And you're going to bring that to the table. And then when Star Citizen implements something, like let's say, for example, something like ship insurance, right? Right now, it's no big deal. So people run to a kiosk and claim, right? Claim, 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 claim. So now, if all of a sudden people are like, oh, I got to claim it, but I got to wait 72 hours, people are going to lose their minds if they didn't know, right, that was a part of the vision. So my thing is that I want them to communicate more where they are in the vision. You know what I mean? Is this
It
still
sounds like
the deal, or has it changed a little bit, or are you considering something different? And I know that could still change again, but I think an update when you're talking about a design document that existed, like for example, another example, we're doing this stuff with engineering now. And I remember Admiral, I have to give shout out to Admiral Kusanagi on this because I had completely forgotten about it. I've read all the design documents years ago. Admiral says to me one day, "Yeah, Griff, what about subcomponents?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" You know. And he's like, "Yeah, you forgot about subcomponents?" And then I went back and looked and said, "Oh, this is how you're supposed to be fixing components. It's not that your component goes bad, but there are subcomponents inside of your components that you're supposed to replace the parts on, right?" And then it started clicking. Oh, now I see what the depth of engineering is. Now, will they still do that? Don't know. They've designed these physicalized models and stuff for them to be able to do it, but people are already kind of freaked out with this whole new thing of repairing modules and taking them out. But there are a lot of people who don't know about the subcomponent aspect of it. It's not just fuses, y'all. There's a whole nother level of engineering that's supposed to happen when it comes to taking care of your ships. Now, CIG may have said back in the day that vision was exciting, but the reality of gameplay and where players are, or because of time or gameplay structure, maybe we're not going to go to subcomponent level. Maybe it's just going to stay at the point of pointing a laser at this thing or pulling it and replacing it. I would love to know where they stand with design elements that go back that far. So because they haven't been doing that, and because whenever you do point people to information, sometimes they look at it and they say, "This is 12 years ago. Is it still relevant?" You know, that's my reason why I can't go any higher than a 4.
I, I'm going to ask for a little bit of clarification. I know I can see where you're coming from. People who are watching may not be able to tell, but we already have. I see like down below you have a communication report card coming up, but you mentioned communication just now. So you're going to distinguish between those
Yep.
two coming up, or you want to
Yep.
do that
Because
now?
communication is an entirely
Okay.
different thing than me talking about them keeping us updated on the vision. I
All
want
right.
I want them to I want the vision is great. Everybody got excited in 2012, but there are a lot of people. There are people who post already, "Oh, this isn't the game that he pitched back in 2012," right? And I'm saying
They've been doing that since 2015.
yeah, but right. It's not the first time we've heard that, right? But I'm saying part of it is because you don't hear anything from them, right? And the question is, is what you're seeing now a step toward it, or is it a step in a different direction? That's what I mean by I wish they would do more to let people know, to reassure people more than just saying, "Well, if it ain't changed, if you don't hear nothing about it, it's probably still the same." Okay, that's great, but you got to know what the original,
I would say that.
but you got to know what the original, but you got to know what the original was, right? And if you don't know what
That's
the
like
original
that's like
was, you're in
saying
trouble.
that's like saying they haven't said anything about the Endeavor, so Endeavor hasn't changed. We know that Endeavor had changed.
Well, we hope. Well, we assume that it has. We assume that it has, right?
Right.
And some of those changes are not changes that are for the. Here's the deal: nobody cares if the change is for the better, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's if it's
That's
changed for the
true.
worse.
Yeah, that's true.
That's when people are going to lose their freaking
Right.
mind. Nobody got mad when the carrot got bigger. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got upset because it got fat, but the fact that it got bigger, nobody complained, right? So to your point, I just think that there needs to be some occasional updating. That's basically all I'm saying. So I'm going to give it a 4.
That's fine.
You're going to give it a 4.5. Okay. Let's take on the other ugly monster. I tried to get the ugly ones out of the way real quick and easy here. the the funding model. Now, the funding model covers a lot of areas, right? We're talking about ship sales, we're talking about subscriptions, we're talking about the marketplace for physical items, we're talking about the paints, gear, CitizenCon, excuse me,
Merchandise.
yeah, merchandise. You know, you get it, I'm saying, and you can
Right.
kind of focus it wherever you want, but I'm saying just take all of it into consideration. Anything that's generating revenue, your thoughts
Yeah,
on
I'm gonna have to walk my way. I'm gonna have to talk my way through this one
it.
because I
Sure.
can't really give them.
If you want to break,
but
if you want to break
like,
down,
okay, so
break down.
first of all, I just want to say you can get away with just spending $40 in this movie in this game, and that's all you'll have to spend in order to enjoy the game for Star Citizen. Most people do not. Most people pay. Most people pay more, or you can. Well, yeah, $40 if you're doing a free fly or Invictus or IE. It's $45 typically, but you can get away with $40 if you time it well.
Mm-hmm.
So, disregarding that, not disregarding, but including that, you can upgrade from the Mustang, yeah, the Mustang, because the Roar is not available at the moment. You can upgrade the Mustang to a better ship, and most people say go with the Titan, Avenger Titan, or go maybe a Cutlass if you want something like a multi cruise ship, and that's like $60 more because you're going from a Mustang to the Cutlass, or maybe $25 to go from the Mustang to the Avenger Titan. I mean, considering that most other games are, well, you just talking about $90 game, but I'm still stuck in the time of $60 give you a 40 hour or more game time. You could spend that much time and more in Star Citizen if you choose to. Um, in that case, yeah, the funding model seems okay to me, but some people say it's predatory, and I don't really see it as predatory because no one is holding a gun to your head and making say you have to buy this. You know, no one is saying that you have to have concierge in order to fully appreciate the game. So there have been half steps too, like the whole blade thing from last year. That was a negative. Um, Sometimes I feel like cosmetic skin are too expensive. Like, why pay $22 for a ship skin? Or maybe I can just wait
So
until I'm able
let me
to change the skin in the game. Go ahead.
let me ask you a question. When does the model when does the model of of supporting development disappear for players? Because
Mm.
and guys, I'm not arguing the point. I'm just raising an observation. When I'm gonna be honest with you. If I see a paint or some gear that I'm buying, I'm not buying it because, ooh, this game is great and I had fun. Let me go find some armor to buy. I'm buying the armor because I'm buying the armor. And the idea of supporting the game is not in my brain. Now it is in my brain when I buy ships. That one it does. But when I buy that other stuff, that cosmetic stuff and stuff, so my point is that when you say when a ship paint is $22, am I buying it because I'm supporting the development, or am I buying it because I want the paint for the ship? Or is it 50-50? And my question is, as consumers, which one is it?
It depends on the person. It depends on what they're buying. I know that's a cop out. But for,
what do
for me,
you?
but for me, like I bought some of the cosmetic stuff from last year. Got the blossom, the golden blossom thing. That was
But did you buy it because it was pretty?
I bought it because it's pretty, not because I was supporting the game. I bought it because I
Okay,
wanted it
and that's my point.
for my areas.
And that's my point. And that is my point. So is that if I, and I've done that. I've bought stuff because I do that paint will look good on the 600i. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And I wasn't supporting the project was not the element in any of that decision. So when we donate money, okay, I've used this example before. Public broadcasting.
Right.
I'm watching, I don't know. I'm watching Luciano Pavarotti singing somewhere. And they go to a commercial break and they say, if you like Luciano Pavarotti and you want to see more shows like this, send us $80. And for $80, we'll send you this CD, which I know only cost $5
Got $2.
as a way of saying thank you for what you did. So are paints and stuff the same thing? Is gear the same thing? Is buying a shirt the same thing? Is this about supporting the project, or is it, and I'm just asking, or is it because I'm buying a product and that paint, it shouldn't cost me $22 to buy this paint because it didn't cost them nothing to make it.
For me, I'm buying the product because it'll enhance my enjoyment of the game. For me,
So is that $22
like
paint price ridiculous?
depends on the person. If you want it and it really screams out to you, then it's not ridiculous. But for me, it's ridiculous because I don't like the color. But if it was okay, put it this way. Put it this way. In the future, the Band Enrichment is out, and they make the Stardom Grim
Yeah.
paint just for me,
Yeah.
and they want to charge $50 for it. I'm buying it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be about
See,
supporting the project. It'd be
and the
like,
reason
dang, that would look good on my ship.
the reason why I'm equating this is this: if you're doing it out of donation and you're getting a premium for it, right? They call it a premium. You're getting something. They're
Right.
giving you something to say thank you for support. Then the exaggerated price makes sense. But if you're buying it as a product, you'll feel that the price doesn't make sense, right?
That's true.
Because
I
you
get.
see
I
what
get
I'm
you.
saying,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm saying it's
Yeah.
a matter of perspective for people, right? If my perspective is, like I said, when I buy my ships, I think about it. I'm supporting the project. I told you there's only been one ship I ever bought that was strictly out of, vanity, um, and I'm just trying to put some perspective in when it comes down to their funding model. Okay, so I don't want to
And
beat this horse dead either because I know there were other
yeah,
areas you want to talk about. What were some other areas?
and the other issue is like the different things you can buy. Like you said, there's subscription.
Yeah,
Subscription is supposed to pay for video production. Well, if you just started last year, you may not have felt that you got your money's worth because they didn't do as many SCOs or ISC. They did a whole bunch of behind the ships.
yeah,
So maybe that brought up the value some, but you may have certain feelings about subscribing, and especially from last year.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, Cosmetic. Well, we talked about that already, but yeah. So I
Let me
guess
say
the grade I would give.
before you get there. I want to agree with Stout Man. He says I think that they've overpriced it for the larger ships, and I would agree with you, Stout Man. I think that for the amount of money that people have already spent to support getting a Polaris or a Perseus or a Idris or whatever, you know. I know that some people might look at the price they're asking is proportionate to the amount of money spent, but to me, when you look at the difference in how much a ship paint costs for a smaller ship and a medium ship and a capital, I think I think when you start getting into those upper digits that they've been putting down for some of those, I think that they could bring that down a little bit because people have already invested a decent amount of money into those larger ships, and to hit them again for that paint, it's high. I agree, but I was just trying to give the equation of understanding about donation versus just
Yeah.
general consumer purchasing. Okay, go ahead,
Right.
Fastcart.
No, I'm thinking 3-star for a funding
Ooh,
model.
3 stars. Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting. 3.
It could
Ooh.
be better. It could be worse. I mean, I don't subscribe to the whole is predatory. No
Uh-huh.
one's holding a gun to your head, but some of the stuff, I mean, like the blade thing was a setback, and some
Mm.
of the other stuff was a setback. But yeah,
Wow. Okay. Okay. Boy, you put me in a bad spot here. You said that you went with a 3. Okay.
oh, what were you gonna say?
You're
Before
making
I
me,
said three, what were you gonna go?
you're making me like really think about the number I had in my head. Um, I'm going to go. Okay, I'm going to go with a 4. Now,
Yeah, I thought you would go over the 4. Yeah,
well,
that's the prime
I
number.
had to think about it. I had to think about it. I had to think about it. And the reason why I'm going with a 4 is this. I know some people may not like this when I say it because I usually don't like even saying this myself, but the end justifies the means to a certain degree. Regardless of how people feel
Ooh,
about the funding model, they have generated revenue and they've kept the company afloat.
yeah.
They've kept it afloat during difficult times. They've kept it afloat when other studios have failed. They've kept it afloat during COVID. They've kept it afloat with the big layoffs that were happening in the industry. They have kept it afloat um, through bad decision making. And the funding model also is supported by the people who are willing to give the money. Now, mind you, admittedly, there are a lot of people who are driven by what is it called? FOMO, which you
Oh
should
yeah.
not be driven by,
Oh,
which you should not be driven by. I'm gonna say it for a third time, which you should not be driven by. You
or
should
some
not be
called
driven by.
fallacies. You should not be driven by that
Some
either.
call fallacy. Well, that's even that. That's after you spent the money, right? And you know you're going to spend some more money, you know. But you should not. I've heard people talk about the FOMO thing so much, and it's like, now I'm going to distinguish something. Some people might think I'm just making excuses, but I'm just telling you the truth. There was a period of time in the early days when the only way to get a ship was to buy it with cash. That was the only way to do it. Okay. There was no rentals. There was no ship stores. There was no using credits or anything. Most
In
you
a
could do back in
commander,
the day was just buy.
correct?
You could buy some weapons, but that no. But I'm saying you couldn't own it. You couldn't own it, right?
Right,
It was
right,
your ship.
right.
Okay. And later on, the period came in where you could rent ships, or you could buy ships in game using AUEC. And once that day came, once that period came, that changed the dynamic. So for a lot of people in the early days who might have started out with a starter package and they wanted to upgrade and get a Connie, well, they either had to melt their starter package and upgrade, or if they liked their starter package and they wanted to have that other ship, they literally had to spend more cash. Okay. Um, I didn't see that as FOMO. I saw that as people who just wanted to play the game at a different level, be able to do more things. That was it. But I will say that their marketing definitely can, if you're not careful, you can find yourself driven by FOMO. One of the things I learned a long time ago is that when you're rushing to buy a ship, if you've been here any length of time, you know that probably 90 to 70% of whatever a ship isn't even operating. So when you're buying it and you get it, it's not gonna either the game mechanic isn't there or the mechanics aren't in the ship. You know what I'm saying, Fastcart? If you went out
Mm-hmm.
and bought I'm picking a random ship. If you went out and bought a Keela right now, Connie
Exploration.
exploration
Right,
ship. Yeah, well, it's a great ship to fly around in, but right now it's a cargo ship, right? I mean, there's no
right.
scanners, there's nothing works in it, right?
It's a
So
mediocre cargo ship because the other stuff is better than it.
exactly. So the fear of missing out because it's a cool ship, but if it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, that becomes your real freaking sunk cost fallacy at that point, as far as I'm concerned. So, I'm just saying if you've been around any length of time, right? So I think it is on us as consumers to be wise about our spending, and we try to encourage people to say, hey, don't be dropping all this money. You got friends, fly their ships, see what it's like, rent them in the
Yeah,
game. A
exactly.
whole lot of
Yeah.
things you can do
Org.
other than spending money in the game. Okay. But I
Right.
will say this, even in spite of all of that, and for many years, most of their marketing was done within just the community. They have continued to support and financially support that company. And it's there, whether people like it or not, because the alternative is the money not to be there. And the alternative is that development stops, project halts, or delivery doesn't happen of what we've been looking for. So I know that's not necessarily something people like to hear either, but that's the reality. So anyway,
Now,
that's my
now,
grade for the funding model.
now, I gave it a 3-star. Griffin gave it a 4-star, but for the amount of money they made last year, 155 million, they should get a 5-star because
Nope.
evidently we
Nope.
don't know what we're
I
talking
would
about.
disagree. I would disagree. I would disagree because we're not basing it on last year. Remember, we said we're basing it on the arch
Over the whole
over
project.
the
Okay, yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah.
project. Right now, if it was last year,
All
we'd be
right,
talking a whole other story. But I'm saying
right.
overall. Listen, I can tell you periods where I would have said a 3. I would have easily
When?
said a 3, right? And I don't think there was
When?
ever a time where I would have said a 5. I don't think there was
Okay.
ever a time I would have said a 5. But I
Maybe the
would.
first year.
Well,
No.
yeah, in the sense of that was the very first year because they raised more money than
Yeah. Right.
anybody
Right.
ever
Right.
expected. But even then, the judgment isn't about how much money did you raise, but it's also what did you do with the money,
What
right?
did you
Is
get?
it
What did you get?
reflected? Is it reflected in the game, right? Is it reflected in the community? Those are
'Cause
the
I would
variables.
imagine people in 2013 when the Rhythm Commander came out and stuff like that, they probably would give it a 5 because you pay $5 for the Rhythm
Yeah,
Commander pass and you're able to access it and you pay for a ship. I think people back then might have given it a 5
there may
star.
have been people who may not have been happy about having to pay $5 because they already paid $40 for their ship, and now they got to pay $5 for that pass to get into Arena Commander. Because I remember I felt a certain kind of way about that personally.
You
I
did?
did.
No, I don't
Yeah.
remember that. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was like,
I
why do
came
I
in
have to pay?
2014.
Well, you know
So
what? Because everybody kept talking about Arena Commander. I'm like, what is that? And then it was like, oh, you got to buy
mhm.
wasn't called a battle pass. It was called a something pass. And I was
And we can
like,
come in and
I
pass.
got to pay for
Yeah.
that too now. Oh, $5 more, okay, you know. And don't get me wrong, it was worth it, right? And then
Right,
eventually
right, right,
they
right.
gave it back to us, you know. But I'm just saying, it
Mm-hmm.
was, you know, I was just like, here's something else, you know. And I was already kind of skeptical about the whole crowdfunding thing too. That didn't help. Okay.
Before the Squadron for the 2-star citizen split, I might have given it a 4-star.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, next category, milestones. Okay, for those of you all who don't know what milestones are, um, back when the project was announced, there were several milestones as they were raising funds that CIG said that they would want to accomplish, and there'd be different ships. And basically what it said is this: if we get this much money, this is what we're going to do with the game. That's basically all it came down to. So it was like, if we get $8 million, we're going to build a ship called the Constellation Taurus. If we get $12 million, we're going to work on giving you guys a ship called the whatever. Or if we get $13 million, we're going to add 5 more systems. And it was a period of time up to, I think it was up to 65 million. Is that right, Fastcart?
55. Yep.
55.
I'm putting on chat right now.
Okay, Fastcar's dropping it in if you've never seen the milestone list. These are the items that they said that they will put into the game based upon them. Now, it didn't mean that when they got that money, you would get it right away. It just meant that it will come.
According to some people, they may have felt that way, but
Yeah.
no.
Yes. So, and because there was a lot of stuff that was not built in the game yet, okay? But it was like, so here's an example of something. Pets, right, Stout Man? Pets. Stout Man still shouting out pets. Pets was one of the milestones that we would be able to have pets in the game, okay? The amount of systems that we have in the game was another milestone, okay? So
I got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
17 million. A Star Citizen will add an additional flyable ship class called a Battle Cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
That was back in January 2013.
Yep. And we just heard about
So,
that
yeah.
last year, right?
And we just heard about that last
They
year.
said that's one of the milestones of the final milestone ship that they want to be able to get out is that. Okay. So to this point, when we talk about milestones, we did a show on this a while back where we went through all the ones that they did. And a lot of people say, oh, they haven't done them. Yes, they have. They've done a lot of the milestones, but there are still some that they have not finished. Some of you all may remember that one of the things was that they were going to make these binding handcuffs and stuff that you could use in the taser gun. In fact, people who bought the original package for the Avenger, because the Avenger was an advocacy police ship, when you bought it,
Yeah, that's it.
you got the taser or the stun baton, not taser. I'm getting the wrong thing.
Stun
here.
baton.
Yeah, I'm doing too much
Yeah.
in the streets these days. A stun baton and handcuffs. Okay, and for some people they have that in their hangar thing, right? Yeah, the stalker. Thank you, prisoner. But back in the day, that ship was also supposed to be a modular ship. There weren't 3 versions of it. It was supposed to be a ship that got changed out. So anyway, that's the milestones. Okay. And if you have, there's the link, Fastcart put it in there. If you've never seen it, take a look at it. Interesting stuff. There are some things that you guys have in your, some of you may even have them in your hangar and not realize that they were milestone items. So that if you ever see something weird, you might want to look at that list and see if it's there. Okay, Fastcart, milestones. How you feel about
it? Complicated history. I think again, earlier on in the project, I might have given it a higher rating than what I am now. This is overall, because this is I backed in 2014, so this is almost my 11th year coming October. I like the fact that they put effort into achieving these milestones and putting them in game. Some of the stuff, like you said, you mentioned pets. We don't have those yet, but hopefully they'll be coming. When we'll see them is another question. Probably see them after 1.0. I think. Okay, let me see something real quick. Oh, sorry. Let me make sure, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Let me go backwards. Is the 100 system thing a milestone, or is that something different?
That's a milestone.
That's a milestone. That's what I'm trying to look up. I'm trying to find what number it is, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Anyway,
I don't remember
but
that.
there is a couple of milestones in here that, you know, let's say $4 million. They added some milestones. They didn't. Oh, here it is. 50 star systems. Okay, so let me see. 100 star systems. Here it is. $6 million. Star Citizen will launch with 100 systems. 100 star systems. Yeah. So for stuff like that, I have to knock off a half star or maybe a whole star because even though we're getting more points of interest, it technically not the same thing as having a hundred system. Even though
Mm-hmm.
we're getting way more points of interest, and that'll make it probably seem more than what we would have gotten if they had put a hundred system in it.
Right.
But still, it's not the same thing. So. Uh, I like the fact that they're putting effort into achieving fulfilling these milestones. That's the word I'm looking for. Fulfilling.
Right.
So I'll probably go with 4 star for milestone.
Okay.
And also they give us stuff extra that we never even expected a lot of time, like the stuff we talk about with the concierge and stuff like that.
So that
Yeah.
becomes my question to you then, is that when they do something, okay, uh, guys, please don't say I'm being an apologist. If it sounds like I am, I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to be. But I'm just asking challenging questions because people have asked me or asked conversations with me about this stuff.
Mhm.
So at $6 million, I want to be very careful and make sure I quote them correctly. It says at $6 million, what was going to happen?
Star Citizen will launch with 100 star systems.
Okay, the key word in there is will launch, right?
Okay, all right.
All right. Now, if I were to ask you, when is Star Citizen launched? Has it launched? Is it going to launch? What would you say as a player is the launch?
I would go 1.0. Personally, maybe
Okay.
I would
All
say
right.
1.0.
So to you, 1.0 is the launch. Now, there's no 100 systems. There's 5.
Yeah, right.
Have they broken their word?
Yes and no. It's a nuanced answer. They're giving us way more points of interest. Like I said, they're giving us quite a few more points of interest than because of procedural planet and the way and planet tech and Genesis and all that. They can make a planet that has a lot more points of interest than the original anticipated back in 2012 or 2013.
Okay.
So yes and no.
Okay. But in writing, Star Citizen will launch with 100 systems.
They haven't launched yet.
But no, but you hear what I'm saying. In writing,
Hmm.
Star
Hmm.
Citizen will launch with 100 systems. Nothing in here about POIs. Nothing in here
Hmm.
about POIs. Just that it says it's going to launch with 100 systems. And to you, 1.0 is that launch, even though we know they're going to continue to develop, but you're saying that that's the launch for the official game and there's only 5 systems. Okay. So, how do we nuance that with players when people ask or when people say they're not delivering what they promised? Is the answer yeah, you're right? No, you're wrong? I don't know. What do you think? I have an answer for you. I'm just curious as to what you think. Because I'm just going by what
Oh,
it says. I'm just going by what it says. It didn't. There's nothing in here about POIs.
sorry, you're asking me what again specifically?
Did they break their promise?
They break their promise. They haven't yet. I mean, but as far as we know, they potentially could be breaking their promise because we don't have 100 systems. I mean, to me, it feel like they're trying to not break their word, even though they can't get out 100 systems. They feel like they're trying to give us a substitute, not bait and switch per se. Some people may say that, but it doesn't feel that
Yeah,
way to
there are
me.
some people who might feel that way, right? So here's the deal, right? This is the way I look at it. I look at it once again. This goes back into if you know the history and all the nuance that was behind it, then maybe you can make some rationale out of it. Maybe, and it may be still a stretch, right? But those 100 systems were supposed to be 90 POIs, 94 POIs, right? That was it. An original game. The original game pitched was 94 locations where you could land, and that was it. We've got way more than that now. Like we have thousands,
Thousands,
right? We have
thousands,
thousands, right? Not to
just in
mention,
three
and
systems.
not to
No, just in
mention,
2 systems.
right? And not to mention the other systems that are coming, right?
Right.
So for some people will say, but yeah, that's not what it said. What it said was 100 systems. Now, I'll go to another game that Bethesda made called Starfield that did have all those systems. And what happened? See, and the reason why I'm saying this is because people get excited about a number, not content, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you get excited about 100 systems, but the reality of space is that space doesn't have anything in it, well, you're only going to be getting excited about 10% of the space, which is what Bethesda did. Only 10% of their space was occupied, right? And I'm just trying to figure out what's the trade-off here. Is the trade-off, yeah, we're only getting 5 systems, but we have thousands of places to go, or let's deliver the promise. This is why I say CIG needs to, when I talk about the vision, that they need to clarify stuff, because if you don't know that originally there was only going to be 90 something places to go to, you're going to feel like you got shortchanged. You're going to feel like, where's, and people were saying, when we were at CitizenCon, people were like, where's the 100 systems at? As soon as they said 1.0, yeah, but where's the 100 systems, right? And people kept saying it. And it doesn't make a difference. In their minds, it doesn't make a difference about scale. It doesn't make a difference about how many planets there are, how many landing zones there are. What they're focused in on is the word of the document, which was 100 systems, right? So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I just think that they need to be very clear about development change and why, not just say it, but let people know that because if you don't do that, people are going to hold them to what they wrote down. And you can get up there every week and say stuff changes all the time, but people are still going by what was written or what they heard
For me,
people say.
it feels like CIG wants to fulfill their promise because even though they may not deliver 1.0 with 100 systems, I can see them fulfilling that as time goes on. Maybe like
Okay.
4 or 6 years,
I'm
between
gonna
4 and 6 years.
I'm gonna push back on you because you
they'll fill it
telling me
in.
I'm gonna push back on you because you're telling me what you feel.
That's what this whole thing is. It's report card, how we feel.
No. I'm not. No. You're saying you feel that CIG is going to do, and I'm saying
I feel like they could do it. They could do it.
but I'm going by what the letter of the thing says. That ain't the feel. The feel is what they wrote. And
all
that,
right,
and,
all right.
but
Yeah, that's
no,
fair.
I
That's
hear
fair.
you.
I give
I'm
you
just
that.
giving you
I
both
give you
sides of
that.
the argument. That's all. And I agree with what you're
Right,
saying.
right.
I agree with everything you're saying. I'm just saying I can understand why people say what they say because they say, hey, that was at the $6 million mark. These jokers got 900 million, right? Where's my 100? Where's my 100 systems,
Hey,
right?
hey, they're at 950 million and at 17 million, they promised a battle cruiser, but they're going to do that in Invictus probably with the concept. They're not even going to deliver the ship, but they're on the way of delivering the battle cruiser. So
Yeah.
that's what 11 years. No, I'm sorry, 12 years. I can't even count. No, so that's 2013, 26, 13 years later. A battle cruiser comes along.
Yeah, well, guess what though? The 100 systems came before the battle cruiser, so there you go. There, I'm just letting you know that. My point is that I understand both sides of the argument. That's all.
Yeah.
I understand both sides of the argument.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I still give them 4 stars.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. On their milestones, I'm going to go for 3.5, and I'm only going a little lower on them because there are things that I wish that they had delivered sooner, because of backlogs and things like that. Um, it's not bad, but I just wish that they would have delivered on some other things a little bit sooner than they did. How come, where's my G at? This is the wrong G. This is the G for funding model. What did you give me? Oh, you know what? I didn't put new letters down. What did you pick again, fastcart?
I said 4. I said 4.
You said a 4. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't add your 4 in. That's why I'm all out of whack. All right. So fastcart's going to give him a 4, and Griff is going to give him a 3.5.
Are you putting that under 3 though?
I'm getting up. I got to move it. I haven't moved it yet.
You're still moving it from the other one.
Did I? Oh, where was this at? Where was this at? Here?
Under 4, right there.
How come this thing isn't copying like I'm asking it to? That's weird.
You're doing the wrong one.
No,
top left.
No. That's not it. I'm clicking on something that's not doubling it. I've got a double in here somewhere, and it's not showing up. Where's that other G at? All right, here, I'm just going to do this. This is like, the game is doing stupid stuff. I mean, the XSplit is doing some stupid stuff on me. There we go.
There you go.
All right. So I'm going to give that a 3.5. Okay. All right. Let's hit that next category. Oh, God, we're at 4 minutes. What do you got for communication? Now, this is internal. This is internal. Okay.
Internal?
This is us, like to the community, communications, in
Oh, to the criminal. Okay, yeah.
not outside of the community.
And this is since the dawn of time.
Yes,
uh,
yes.
they've had good years, they had bad years. They had good times, they made good decisions, they made bad decisions. I'm gonna say 3.5
Mm.
overall.
Where do you come up with
3.5.
3.5? Is there anything in particular that sticks out to you that's what was good and what was negative? Give me an example of one of each, if you don't mind.
I like how in the opening part of the um t- crowdfunding they were more open, but as time goes on, I don't want to say they became more corporate, but they became more insular, and that's because they don't want they try not to reveal too much, or especially about their plans, or some people may feel like instead of becoming grassroots, they're becoming more corporate, and
Okay.
some people have a negative feeling about that. I understand, as time goes on, that's something that they had to do.
Hmm.
But yeah, I wish they were better at communicating the stuff that they do communicate to us. Put it that way.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go with a. Hmm. Jeez. I'm struggling with this one. See, communications includes a lot of stuff in here for me. It's everything from the
Mhm.
information that they give us. Um, I know y'all think I'm getting paid by CIG. I know you all think that, but I'm going to go there for communication. I'm sorry, it's under marketing. I'm going to go to here. Okay,
Is that a 4 or 3 and a
that's
half?
a 4. No, it's a 4. It's actually weird. It's a weird number. It's like a 4, 4.0. Um I think that they do more than most companies, right?
They do.
Newsletters, weekly shows, um the community events such as CitizenCon, promotion of bar citizens, um, newsletters for both Squadron 42 and for Star Citizen,
Dev tracker.
Chairman's Club, yeah, their website in the sense of the dev tracking, um, Spectrum, their social media outlets. Now, I'm not saying that they do them well. I'm
Hmm.
saying that they have so many various ways of communicating with people,
So
whether
you're
it's
grading on quantity rather than
well,
quantity,
no,
per
no.
se.
No. I'm just qualifying that in some of those areas they do very well. Other areas they could do better, right?
All right.
But overall they do more than most companies do. Okay, even to the point where if a local group does a bar citizen where they will actually send developers to come to their thing so people can talk with them directly. You know, there's a lot that they do to communicate with folk and the fact that they're devs, not just certain community managers, but that devs will come onto their social media and talk to people, right? So to me, that makes them stand out. Is there room for improvement? Absolutely, absolutely. It always can do better. It's not even a matter of doing more as much as better. We've had everything from and this kind of goes into marketing a little bit, but I'm still keeping this with communication. You know, Fastcart, you and I have been through the periods where they had 5 shows running in one week, and then shows when they go one show every 2 or 3 weeks. So we've
Mhm.
kind of seen that wave of communication, but there's always still been something out there to communicate with folk, right? Monthly reports, right? Newsletters. What was the thing that they used to do where they used to go back and reassess themselves? What was the thing called?
Oh,
The
yeah,
the postmortem stuff.
postmortem,
Yeah,
yeah.
there was the
Oh,
pillars,
pillow talk. That's something you like.
yeah, pillar talk. I mean, there was a whole bunch of stuff, and then you go back to the early days with Chris with letters from the chairman. You know, there's just all these different things that they've done to communicate. You know, which goes way more and above beyond than what a lot of companies do for their communities. So, I'm gonna say that for that one. Okay.
All right.
All right. Marketing. Here comes a good one for you. Marketing. This could be internal and external.
Oof. Over the past almost 14 years now. Oof. Uh, Again, they've had good years and bad years. I mean, okay. Well, put it this way: when you say marketing, you're just saying how effective they are in promoting the product. How do you define marketing?
Yeah, pretty much. And that could be everything from when they're selling somebody a ship, a ship commercial, a ship brochure. It could be the shows like when we do like shows like ship shape stuff like that, right? When
or
I
behind the ships.
when IAE comes around, I mean
Okay.
that's marketing to us, right? To us, giving us information on whether we want to consider getting something in the game.
So we don't
Um,
want to consider stuff like the pricing and stuff like that. Just
well,
just
pricing was under the funding. What do you mean? What do you mean with
just
pricing?
gonna find it. So like, okay, yeah. You're right. I feel like I want to give them a 4 star because marketing seems to be doing pretty well. So yeah, 4 star. They've had some missteps when they may not have gauged the community correctly.
Well, you get the example earlier about the blades, right?
The blade, right,
The blades was a convolution of a lot of different things. It wasn't just the selling of blades. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
The selling of blades was one thing. There was as part of communication and marketing, different people had different ideas of what blades were going to be.
yes.
Some people bought blades
it's,
because they thought
it's
that was going to be the thing that was going to make their ship, super ship.
some,
You
like
know?
some people thought the blade was going to be NPCs or replacement for NPCs
Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but I think maybe it's because CIG is still figuring out what some of these features will be when the game like they may have had one idea in 2013, 2014, but when it meets to when it comes to I don't want to say reality, but because of the progress of the game and what have you, the idea probably will change because it's just like the only constant in change. I'm using your slogan there, Jared. But yeah, so yeah, I feel like a 4 star out of marketing says they all being successful. The only thing I want to say is that we, the community, are better at marketing the game than CIG can be sometimes because we do it by word of mouth, and we seem to be much more successful at
So,
marketing
so let me ask you this:
than CIG.
as a content creator, what do you think? Because content creators are part of the marketing,
Yeah,
and they feel a certain kind of way.
yeah. Content creators tend to be. I want to say. I mean, going back to when 2012, 2013, there are some people. I'm not saying this because this is how I feel. I'm saying how some people feel. I
Mm-hmm.
was okay with it. Some people didn't like the fact that Stanley Roberts was in charge of marketing because they were like, oh, what are her qualifications? But evidently, her qualifications were pretty good because you see how see how Star Citizen turned out when it comes to market
Her
crowdfunding.
degree
So
was in marketing. That's just because people didn't know any better.
yeah,
But
they
I'm
didn't
still
know any
asking
better.
you about
Exactly.
content creators, though. I'm still asking you about content creators. Content creators feel a certain kind of way about how CIG does marketing, and people feel a certain way about content creators because of marketing,
Yeah, a lot of people think that
right?
content creators got this stuff under the table. Oh, remember that whole Gamescom? They shipped a whole bunch of content creators
Yep, yep, yep,
over to
yep,
Germany,
yep,
and some people had certain feelings about that. So
yep,
yeah, some people did. Some people, that was a big drama for that, and so
yep.
yeah, I still say 4 star,
Okay.
even with that, because
Now
they're.
let me reflect back to something that
Go
maybe
ahead.
Fastcart doesn't know. Content creators have been feeling a certain kind of way this past year because CIG changed their cadence on how they're giving out
Oh, you
information.
talking about that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. They don't like that.
yeah.
We don't like that sometimes.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you some other things that see. No, it don't bother me. You may not like it. It don't bother me a bit. My attitude is do what you got to do. Now there were content creators who felt a certain way because they felt like CIG stopped coming on their shows. They felt that that was a part of
Mm,
marketing. I'm just saying
mm,
there's other sides to marketing, because in the beginning it seemed like this was like a great way for them to minimize their expenses in advertising by using streamers. Because as you said, fast card streamers are reaching an audience, and these streamers are very dedicated to understanding the game, explaining it, giving examples of it, right? It's a game being in development. And there are some streamers who felt a bit resentful. They felt like, well, CIG has used us to get what they wanted and has cast us to the side, right? So I'm just saying, I'm trying to give a whole picture of marketing beyond a trailer, right? Um, you know, how do you think they've done? And
You make me want to change my grade to 3.5, but I'll still go for a star. I still
that's
say
fine.
4 star, even though you make me change three
That
and a
that
half.
no, that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with the score you picked. I'm just wanting to make sure that when we're sharing with everybody, we're looking at a lot of variables, because it'd be very easy to pick one thing and say they get a 5 or a 1. I'm saying, but it's kind of hard to average. Like you said earlier, it's a lot of
Especially
stuff to average.
over 14 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to average over a period of time. Okay, so Fastcard says he's going to give him a 4. Is that a 4.0, 4.5, 4.2?
4-0,
All right, 4 4
4-0,
0. All right, you giving him a 4.0. Okay.
maybe 3.9.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to say this is a tough one here for me, boy. This is really hard. Because this is one of those times where I can get into the ends justifies the means, but I can also say that okay, yeah, okay. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go with 3.5. I'm gonna be just short of Fastcart.
3.5. Okay, all right, yeah,
Now,
that makes sense.
now,
I'll
my
give you that.
but here are my reasons. My reasons is that there have been some marketing faux pas that they've done that just should not have happened. And this could be something as simple as when we had brochures come out that had the wrong information on them, and
Oh
then we had to
yeah, the
wait on a ship.
confusion. Yes, you're
Yeah,
right.
we had to
Yeah,
wait on
I
a
forgot
ship.
about that. You're
Yeah, we
right.
had to wait on a ship Q&A, and then the ship Q&A said one thing, and then the brochure said another, and then people bought stuff based upon what one of the others said, and then it was an
And
issue,
then
right?
they had to clarify the Q&A
Yeah. Yeah,
on
or the other way,
SGL
or
or the other
clarify the
way. Yeah,
document, right? That should not
right.
have happened. That stuff like that should not have
Mhm.
happened. Um, the fact that one of the things that we had a big beef on was Star Citizen's thing of playable now. For the longest time, we were never happy with the
Mm.
whole playable now thing, especially in the early days. We felt that, yeah, it said playable now, alpha, whatever. Like playable now was in letters like this, and alpha so and
Big
so was like
letters,
this. We're
alpha,
like, no, 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 no.
yeah. Now I do want to change my grade to 3.5 because you remind me of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, mhm.
what? I just want to. It was Danger Hobo asked. It was pretty rare for CID went on people's shows. Number one, no, CID before 2016. It's not like if you ask them to be on the show, you remember Ben Lednick. People may not remember Ben Lednick, but if you ask Ben Lednick, it was like I want to say 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
That's how it feels.
Ben
Nine
was
times out of 10,
Yeah, well, Ben was the community manager.
he would show up.
Right, Ben was the community manager before Disco.
Yeah,
And Ben would come on
before
shows.
before Tyler.
Not
Yeah,
not just Ben. Ben would come on, Tyler would come on, Disco would come on, Sandy would come on. I mean, they would go on various shows back in the day. It was not unusual for them to do that back in the day. But there was a certain point where it got cut off, and we all heard about it was going to be cut off and stuff. But there were some people who never got that opportunity to have them come on, so of course they felt a certain kind of way. There were other people because, as the Fast Card said earlier, CIG started out as a small company, and there were people who knew them ahead of time. There were early content creators who literally had friendships with them. And so they would come on to those people's shows. And there was no harm in that. But of course, there were some people who felt like, well, they went on so and so show, but they didn't come on our show. So it became an issue at one point. Okay. Um, the other thing about the marketing that I was going to say is that their marketing, because their marketing is, I don't ever feel it's predatory. I know there are some people who feel it's predatory, but I think predatory marketing happens. It's like when people talk to me about FOMO and all this other stuff. I'm like, listen, the only people who have fear of missing out is you. Stop being fearful. Stop being fearful. If you miss out, if I see a freaking Rolls Royce Shadow 2 down the street and it's like, oh man, I really want to get that car. They're not gonna make them anymore, dude. If it's, I don't mean I got to go out and get it. And I understand the desire to want to do things. Don't get me wrong. But I think that that we move our own accountability out of how we spend our money, like someone is making us spend that money, or we just have to spend that money. But their marketing is very powerful. It is very. I've seen so many people. I'm not spending no more money. And
no cat to pyro.
And then yeah, right. And then IAE comes up. What'd you buy? Oh, I bought a so and so. So they've got some freaking magicians and wizards working in the background with them with that stuff.
Or here you go. This is a new one. this new one, I'm not going. Oh, my fleet is set. I don't need to get anything else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I don't have to, my fleet is all set. Right. And so don't get me wrong. I get it. And a lot of it is there's a certain energy that their marketing company picks up on because people are excited for the game. And also it's a hunger because of what's lacking in the gaming industry already, right? There's not many things that are like some of the things that they offer, and so it does make you have the desire of, I want to experience that. So I understand where a lot of it comes from. Is that predatory? No, it means you need to know how your brain works, right? And just know that we're all susceptible to it, but we
I want to
also
hold a gun to your head.
but we also have the ability to say, now wait, especially now. I know even people struggle with the 90-day wait for stuff. They really struggle with that. They like, I gotta wait 90 days. Yeah, well, you gotta wait 90 days. You'll be all right, but people want to get in and do stuff right away. So I get
feel like the younger you are, the harder that wait is.
Just be more broke. You won't have to worry about it at all. Just be broke.
Be my broke. That's true also.
That'll end it all for you too. But yeah, I'm going to go there for the marketing. I'm going to go a little bit lower on the marketing because I think that they could have done better.
I agree.
I think that there's just mistakes that they should not make, especially after doing this for so long when it comes to getting information out. And this is mostly to the community. Now, the other thing I struggled with, and I know, guys, we're running a little late, running over today. I'm going to try to wrap this up real quick. The other thing I'm struggling with, we felt a certain kind of way when they started publishing trailers on YouTube. Remember? Remember, we felt like they were putting them out there.
I've yet to see one of those, but yeah.
Oh, you never got a commercial?
Maybe one, but that's about compared to other people. Maybe one.
Okay. Yeah, there was a period when they started, like when you would, the what do you call it? The algorithm would kick in.
Oh, you know what? And I'm always YouTube Premium, so I never see commercial.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So same here. Well, when I use my other account, I would see them, and sometimes as soon as I would come onto YouTube, update 3.7, would pop up. It's like,
playable now.
And playable now. Yeah. And I'm like, y'all, this is too early. I mean, and, listen, that's my personal feeling. Evidently, it wasn't too early because people went on ahead and got in. But to me, I felt like it was just a little too early. I wasn't even telling people about the game. And when they started doing it, I'm like, oh my God, because a lot of people still don't understand alpha. People understand early access. They understand beta. But alpha, forget it. It's just, there's too many definitions of what that means to people. And I was just very concerned that people were coming in and they'd get a bad experience. That's basically what it came down to. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what I always say about alpha because we want to people heard me.
Yeah, we're going to move. Yeah, we're going
to. I said it in alpha.
Gotcha. All right. Last but not least, value. Now this is a big one, fastcart. Value can go from the $45 package to the $48,000 package. So let's hear your thoughts about value.
Hey, Griff, can you loan me $48,000? I make good use of it.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem.
I mean, for me, and I get see, it depends on what you want to do with the game. If you're into economy and crafting and stuff, the value may not be there. But overall, I'm going to say nothing. Not a 5. Not a 5.0. Definitely.
Okay.
But maybe if you pay $45 and you get like 800 hours worth of value because you're able to buy upgrade your stuff in game using in-game credits and stuff like that, you feel like you got the money worth. But this is still alpha, and they do reset your ship, they reset your credits and stuff like that. So value, I'll say 3.7. So 4. Yeah, 4. Put it on the 4.
4.
Yeah, because I mean, you can pay $45 and get plenty of enjoyment of this game, even though some of the stuff that you may not be able to want to do is in game, but. Maybe for me, my grading is skewed because of the community. I'm getting to hang out with friends and have fun because you can't really put a value on that.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, this is a personal one here, and I'm glad Fastcart said for him because on this one I wanted to give him some room for that because its value can be different for everyone. There are some people who have funds that it's wasted. They're just money to burn, right? And so to them, there's not a value dynamic per se. It may not be about the money they spent. It may be about the experience. For some people, it is about the money they've spent. They're looking for something, as you said, fast cart. They're looking for something, a return on that investment, right? They're looking for something back for the amount of time or the amount of money that they've spent into the game. If we're talking about the value for entering into the game for $45, I think that's a 5. I think it's a 5.0, even with all of its bad parts. So you may be saying, well, Griff, there's a lot of stuff in the game that doesn't work. And I would say, if you have an understanding of what Star Citizen is, if you come in, it's a 5.0. If you do not understand what Star Citizen is, it could be a 2.0. It could be a 2.0.
Or 1.0.
Okay, or 1.0, okay?
Depending on what's happening with you.
It depends on your understanding of an expectation from the game. Now, if your expectation is you see that trailer, that slick trailer, and you come in and your experience is I can't log into the game, or I crashed, or even it doesn't mean that. Everything could be working. If it's the fact that you go in to take off in your ship and you blow up 3 times in a row because the tutorial's not good enough, or you didn't know where the tutorial was, that could make your value feeling be very, very low, right? Because there is a steep learning curve to this game. There's a steep curve to even understanding what Star Citizen is. There are other people who, I know people who play this game and they, like, literally, I haven't been here in 2 years. I haven't been here in 6 months. I haven't been here since 2017. Then I know people who are in here every day, every freaking day, every week, and they've been here week after week, year after year after year. The value dynamic is so different for a lot of people. There are some people here who play the game all the time and think the value is not there, even though they play it all the time. They don't think the value is there. There are people who come in only once in a while and think that the game has a lot of value to it and is exceptional in many ways. There are some people who find value in nothing but the visual beauty of the game. There are some people who find, like Fastcart says, I find value in the fact that, yeah, the game may be buggy, but I hang out with friends and I have a great community of people that I hang out with. So for me, someone who's been in this game for 12, 13, however many years it's been now, too long. There's only been one
Lost
other
count.
game. There's only been one other game that I've put this many hours
Here we go.
in. There are 3 games.
Let
There are
us know
3
what the
games
game is.
I've put tremendous amount of hours in, and I was truly dedicated to them. The third one in the row would have been EVE Online. And that one I played a lot. I actually, well, yeah, no, yeah. I played that a lot. I played that for like 7.5 years. The next one I played less time, but I probably put just as much time in that game as I did in EVE Online. And that was Star Wars Galaxies, which I played for 3 years. And I wore that game out. I ate, drank, and slept that game. And anybody who plays Star Wars Galaxies will tell you that game was busted, disgusted, and couldn't be trusted. It was broken. I think Stoutman was one of those people who played it. But that game was amazing. It was amazing. Eve was broken when I was playing it, but it was amazing. Star Citizen is the only game that I've played more hours between those 2 games. More hours and more years. And if I were to say, have I gotten my value out of this game and more, the answer would be yes. So for me, amidst all of the rough stuff and the rough riding, because I look at this process of Star Citizen as being a journey of learning about development, rough edges, bad edges, good stuff, successes, and all of the other stuff, Fastcart, I'm going to say a 5 for me.
Okay.
For me.
For you.
For
okay,
me.
that's fine.
And I got to be specific for that, because my dynamics of value are tremendously different than someone else who has a different set of values. It's not just the game. It's the people. It's the fact that we're doing this live stream. It's the fact that I have a Discord. It's the fact that I've gone to conventions. It's all of that when I talk about value, not just the ship that's in my hangar. I have a whole lot of stuff that over a 13-year period that I can say, I mean, my family knows about me playing Star Citizen, that is encompassed in that gives value. Now, is there problems? Absolutely. 5 doesn't mean it's perfect. 5 just means that my regrets aren't there, that I'm enjoying this even when the bad stuff happens. I'm enjoying it. But I also want to respect people who feel differently about the value system, because everybody comes to this game looking for something different. And a lot of stuff, we have some similitudes. There's some things that were very similar in the things we're looking for. But there's a lot of people who are looking for certain things and they haven't gotten it yet from this game. You guys have heard me say this before. My gameplay is exploration. There is no exploration in Star Citizen. None. But I can still give it a 5. I can still give it a 5, even though not one of my exploration ships has got a scanner working on it.
Now,
But that's just me.
why are you putting the G on the 5? I'm gonna have to go back and change my marketing vote to 3 star because I just remembered some stuff that I must have blocked from my memory because
Okay.
I cannot tell you the amount of times I watched a trailer for Star Citizen and saying that's not in the game or we can't do that.
Yeah. Oh, how many times? Plenty of times, right? Plenty of
Right. So
times.
I got to change my marketing
Your
vote
marketing is going to what?
yeah, marketing
To what?
to 3 star.
A 3?
Star. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. That's
I've
fair.
forgotten about that because I blocked it out of my head.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's our crazy report card. We didn't get into the 2s. Maybe because maybe we're too, I don't know.
You're too nice.
We're too nice.
We're too forgiving.
Maybe
We're waiting on
too
the curve.
forgiving. Is that what it is?
Compared to other games, EA, Activision, World of Warcraft, Blizzard, and yeah.
Well, I think the other thing too
we're definitely
is,
waiting on the curve.
well, I agree with you. It is on a curve, and I think that also I know that I'm much more influenced on the progress now. If I had done this 4 years ago, I might be more between. There might be more 3 and 2s. Well, definitely some 2s.
Really?
And I might have been, the 4s might have shifted a little bit. Yeah, pre-COVID, from 2019 to 2021.
Hey, for me, I'm the opposite. Like 4 years ago, I think my grades would have been higher.
Really?
There
Yeah.
would be more fours.
I was a little disappointed after the Microtech period. I was so hyped after Microtech because they remember when they showed the thing with the Valkyrie flying in and had the NPCs walking all on and off of it and stuff. And I was like,
Okay.
whoa, we're finally going to get the NPCs are going to start doing. And AI didn't happen.
I mean,
I got disappointed.
Back in 2017, I was expecting to get my Band of Measurement because they did the reconcept.
Oh, yeah. I could understand that. I could understand. Okay, listen, we are a bit over today, but we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We know that hope you guys like the new format for this show. This isn't me. This is just me and Fastcart on here. Believe me, all the Soul Citizens are still around. It's just that today, it was just the 2 of us on today. We're just coming off the holiday break and everything, but we will have more folks. And we've got some special guests coming up too. I know Chachi's coming. We've got a show coming up on VR. We've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up that we're going to be doing real soon. So we really appreciate you guys coming on an hour later and also hanging on an hour later with us tonight. And hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. Fastcart, real quick, tell people once again about the Doc Murray, just for those who may have gotten here late, just real quick about that.
Yeah, so Doc Murray, we did a little campaign for him, a fundraiser for him at the end of the last year. Doc Murray, his son is, his father is having medical issues. She has a terminal condition, and Doc Murray needed some money to go visit his family before he passed. It was not expected that he would make it past Christmas. Thanks to our gracious community, he got $226 from us for fundraiser, and he was able to celebrate and celebrate with his family and visit them. So he says thank you for that. Also, Repeasy, you won something from us. Just send us your RSI email, please.
All right, thank you for that. All right, let's talk about what we got coming up. As I just mentioned, that went the wrong way. How come that went to that? Hold on a second. That shouldn't have went to that.
It's the new year. You got to get used to stuff all over again.
Well, you know what? No, what happened was I did that update to export software, it looks like. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so next week we are going to be doing a show called Star Citizen, The Marvelous Mess. And we're going to be having conversations about why we keep playing this thing. That's basically what it's going to come down to. Why are people playing Star Citizen? Why? What brings people back. And is it sadism and masochism? I shouldn't ask Fastcart that question, but
Yeah, that's the wrong. That's the wrong question to ask me. I give you an answer real quick.
I shouldn't ask that. But
And
next week,
there was no joke ban or nothing.
I know, right? That's true. So next week we're going to be talking about players and their feelings about playing Star Citizen, both short term and long term. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that. Other than that, that's all we got going on. I want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed tonight and those of you who are in chat. We saw a lot of good conversations going on in there. We really appreciate all the activity that was going on. And we're going to look forward to seeing you guys on next Sunday. We'll be back at our regular time too next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. It was just an hour off this week because I had something else going on. I couldn't start the show on time. And I wanted to make sure we had enough time to get things in place before we took off and flew the ship today. So let's see, what do we got? Fastcard, who can we raid? Is there somebody out there?
I got Verity.
Verity?
I got Verity. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
There's a few people on there, but no one I recognize. And
Yeah.
I was looking at one person, but turned out they're bad, so they're not even live.
Matachi's playing something else. I haven't seen him in a while. Jeez, oh, pretty. Okay, well, if you've got Verity, we will go with. Oh, that's the wrong one. Where is it? I just had her. Where'd she go? Oh, there she is. Okay. We are going to get you all set up with Verity. Good friend of ours. We haven't raided her in a little while. So when you guys get over with Verity, let her know that you came over from the Soul Citizens. Fastcart, thank you again. Appreciate you being here. And
thanks for having me.
Next week, we'll see you
guys. Hope everybody has a good new year coming up.
Absolutely.
A whole brand new year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as we always tell you guys, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Peace, love, soul. We'll see you soon. Ciao.